capability, Preston.
Okay. So X-Men 97 is streaming now on Disney+. Here's our next clip. Beat Shazam is back, and so is Jamie Foxx. And here, his daughter Corinne talks about being back on the set together.
It's so exciting to be back. And my dad is just an absolute rock star. I was just saying, he has so much energy that I'm often like, oh my God, I need another coffee because this man is all over the place and he's singing, he's dancing, he's playing the piano. Like there's so much of the show that you guys don't even see. So it's going to be a really fun season.
Could you shut up?
Beat Shazam will air tonight, and that'll be on Fox, by the way.
Wait, at the end, it's going to be really what? What did she say?
Back that up, Chris.
Fellatio.
Yeah.
Even see. So it's going to be a really fun season.
A really fun season.
Really fun season. Okay. I thought she said funsies because
It's gonna be really funsies.
I have a friend who says it all the time.
Funsies?
Sounds like you don't like it.
Funsies. No, I love it.
Okay.
What do you mean?
What about samesies, Kathy? What are your thoughts on samesies?
It's the same way I feel about funsies, everyone.
All right, and that
You mean
is
your former friend?
the entertainment report for you this morning. In case you have not heard, Kevin Costner is stopping by this morning. He'll be here in our 9 o'clock hour, and I'll share this again. A memo was put out through the office of not to crowd around the studio or anything like that. He's on a tight schedule, and they do have security that came by here, checked the area out yesterday. If you're thinking about coming by here, don't. Because they are going to make sure that everybody's just, he's going to get in and out, and that's it.
I know for a fact that 3 of the plants in the lobby are actually men in costume.
Yep, I
Those
believe
tall
it.
ones out front.
I believe it.
Wait, I love that they sent a security detail.
Yes.
We've never had that before.
No, we have not.
So cool.
Yeah, so he's stopping by in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll talk to him about the new movie Horizon and American Saga. We're all excited about it. So hopefully you'll be a part of this. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back in just a moment or two on this, what looks like a very beautiful Tuesday morning. Returning shortly.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WML.
Impossible Foods is now bringing more to the table. This time it's plant-based chicken nuggets.
I've had them.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you have? Because so have I, and they were the most disgusting things I've ever eaten in my life.
Well, then I've had different. So Hip City Veg has the best chicken nuggets I've ever tasted, and there's no chicken.
Okay, so this was sort of like, it looked like it was dark meat, but it wasn't meat. It was plant-based, and it had like a breading around it. It looked really good, and I was like, oh, I'll try this.
Right. Not
I
good.
was like, what is this? What is this texture? What am I eating?
So they use
Plant or
seitan.
not?
I guess it is seitan, right? The often used for chicken substitute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and the Satan actually cooks them.
Wait till you try this.
But they're at Casey. They're excellent. We actually put them out at a party.
Yeah.
And people had no idea.
So we have a vegetarian living in my house. My oldest is now a vegetarian, more pescatarian, but we have a lot of Impossible meat in our house now.
Right.
And we do the Impossible ground beef a lot, and it's damn good. You know,
I
so
love it.
Yeah, my wife will make
and Preston's right in the. It's not exactly, but the taste I like.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
good.
the Impossible taste.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily taste exactly like beef or pork or whatever it is they're trying to simulate, but whatever it tastes like tastes good to me.
Yeah, and when you're making things like nachos, like my wife will make nachos for, the household, and she'll crumple up the Impossible burger meat or whatever on there. You can't tell the difference.
Dude.
Not when it's got the cheese and the salsa and everything else with it.
I'm telling you, that Impossible cheesesteak from Wilson's
Unbelievable.
was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't stop eating it. It was excellent.
Get me the biggest cheesesteak fan in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Sit them down and give them one of those.
And don't say, all right, tell me if this tastes like meat.
Right.
Just say, eat this, and does it taste good?
Yeah.
That's the difference. So somebody who is, a hardcore meat eater might say, this ain't no meat or whatever. No, just set that aside. Does it taste good or not? Okay. And because that cheesesteak at Wilson's Secret Sauce is fantastic.
And what was the ingredient?
Loved it.
Was it seitan?
No,
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
think
know.
he uses Beyond or Impossible.
I'm not sure
Okay.
exactly what he uses.
I
You'd
think
have
it's
to ask him.
Impossible. Yeah.
So I'm looking at what I had, and this restaurant changed, right? It was one healthier restaurant to the next, and they had chicken on it, and so they were called chicken. They were called chicken strips. Well, now they're just called strips, and so I ordered that thinking I was getting the chicken, and then realized, but it says plant-based, so it's a plant-based strip. It doesn't say exactly what's in it, but I'm assuming it's similar to what you're talking about.
I want plant-based strips, Mommy.
So Impossible Foods is describing this as having a golden, crispy breadcrumb. Oh my God! I can't believe I said that.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm interested in your chicken strips.
Stop it.
What's that special ingredient again?
It's a little salty.
Breadcrumb.
Do you guys buy that? Because I just made some.
It's great.
Here's audio of the chef, Preston.
You're gonna be my regular size thing, baby.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
I think I like your reaction more than the actual flub itself. You're like, I just can't believe you just said that.
All right, having golden, crispy breadcrumb coating
You're working in the kitchen today. Where's something low cut?
and a juicy and springy white meat texture. How was your weekend, Jackie Bam Bam?
Oh, good. How was yours, Press?
Very relaxing.
Right.
How about you? Did you relax?
I heard you tried on some jeans. I was getting worried about my leather pants and my roostered hair for the MMRBQ, more importantly.
Do you ever wear shorts?
Nah, but I do shave my legs if you need to know.
Okay.
But wait,
No doubt. No doubt.
Why? Why do you shave your legs if you're not wearing shorts?
No offense to Steve, but I think the hair should be on the head, nowhere else.
Okay.
You know.
So you shave everywhere?
Everywhere, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Armpits?
I've been trying to do a contest or a little promo with Casey Boy, but it's just not happening. Sales department. I want to shave Casey Boy.
I don't want to do that.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
You
do
should
that.
come get laser hair with me.
Oh, you get your beef
Remove it
laser.
permanently?
Yeah.
I follow you on social media. I'm like, where does she get this done at? I could do that.
Oh, come with me.
I will.
All right.
Do you shave your armpits?
Cut that out, what she just said, Casey.
Do you shave your armpits?
I do, yes. You want to take a look? Yeah.
Yeah, they're short.
All right,
Yeah,
there you
sure
go.
enough.
Very nice.
Okay, he's a shaver. He's
Your ass crack?
He's an O'Hare guy. You're one more step closer to Romano, man.
Yeah, Romano.
We have that in common. Wow. Okay, so this is interesting. Chrissy Teigen has admitted, listen to this,
Her again.
she underwent a cosmetic surgical procedure to have fat removed from her cheeks.
Okay.
Per a recent Instagram story she shared.
Isn't that kind of her look? She
does have
she's
kind
a very
of roundish cheeks. Yeah.
clearly a beautiful woman.
She wrote, I did that Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal thing here, she said.
The Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal?
I guess so, yeah. Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal. She
I can't say
Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal.
That's amazing. I can't do that.
Dr.
Diamond buccal fat removal. Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal. Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal. There you go.
That's pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
Now do it backwards.
I can't do that. Fat buccal diamond doctor. Well, I left out removal fat.
Oh, way to
All
go.
Removal fat buccal diamond doctor. I'm reading it. I can see it written here. So
Still good.
Still pretty good.
removal fat buccal diamond doctor.
I will say this after Dr. Buchal's fat removal, that she looks different.
Yes.
Well, it's sort of that what we were talking about. Who was it yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
It was Tori Spelling.
Tori Spelling. It's
Terrence and Phillip.
Yes, it gives that Terrence and Phillip look.
If you do too much, it looks like she got not like almost too much. It's,
Right.
You know, she's
Not as
flirting
much
with
as
it.
Tori.
With Dr. Buchal's fat removal?
Wait, what's buccal? Because his name's Diamond. What's the buccal?
Dr. Diamond buccal fat
I
removal.
assume the buccal is the kind
Procedure?
of fat.
Oh.
It is, or the buccal fat removal.
So it's Dr. Diamond buchal's fat removal.
Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal.
Okay, it's not plural.
Maybe someday they'll have a Dr. Diamond buccal fat replacement.
Yes, and fill those cheeks back up again.
Exactly. Theater royalty in the form of Kristen Chenoweth, Julie Taymor, and Lin-Manuel Miranda welcomed back boisterous audiences to Wicked, The Lion King, and Hamilton for the first time since the start of the pandemic, making Tuesday as the unofficial return of Broadway. Chenoweth surprised the crowd at Wicked by appearing on stage for a speech at the same stage where she became a star years ago. And she said, the fitting line, she said, there's no place like home.
Right.
Coming back there. And the crowd hooted and hollered and gave her a standing ovation. You can hear them hoot.
It's not a hoot.
Several hoots and a couple of hollers. That'd be kind of scary.
It would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I think that the actors would walk off the stage.
Tamor, the director and costume designer for The Lion King, congratulated her audience for the courage and enthusiasm to lead the way. She said, "Theater as we know it is the lifeblood and soul of the city. It's time for us to live again." And Miranda at Hamilton summed up the feeling of a lot of people when he asked, "I don't ever want to take live theater for granted."
And by the way, I did not write Hamilton. I have to know. Yeah. You know, Preston, I have a love-hate relationship with Broadway, and because there's wonderful things to see.
Yeah.
But those theaters are designed for people from the 1870s.
Yeah, they're tiny.
And unless you're a dwarf,
But it is super exciting going.
It is
to one of those
amazing.
shows.
It is amazing.
It is also super expensive to go.
Oh, my
to
God.
one of those
$200 or
shows.
$300.
It's insane.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Broadway, I had gotten comp tickets, okay, because of my job. I was a music director, and it was for Rent, and Rent had a soundtrack and all this stuff. And so the record company got us tickets. I'm like, wow, man, that was a great time. We enjoyed the hell of the show. It was amazing. And I'm like, we should go back and see that again sometime. And then we went to go back and see it, and we paid for tickets. I'm like, oh my God.
They offer packages though that are actually really good deals. That comes with dinner at you can choose from a number of restaurants and things like that. So at least it's
hotels sometimes and an organ transplant.
But just anything in New York.
Anything in New York.
You get a cheese sandwich, and they're like, that'll be $14. You're like, what? It's a cheese sandwich, though.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's right. We're in New York.
One last story. John Mellencamp revealed to the Indianapolis Monthly that in addition to recently recording, he and Bruce Springsteen actually painted together. He said, "Bruce and I have done 2 paintings together."
This is my house, and this is the smoke coming out of the chimney, and this is me and my family holding hands, and that's a daisy.
He said, "We have a..."
That's a turkey. I made it with my hands.
He said, "We have a painting that we worked on for 2 days straight."
Yeah.
He said he painted one side, I painted the other.
That's the whole.
And he also said Bruce had never painted at all, and he was really good, really into it.
Have you seen any of
Mellencamp stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. He's accomplished.
How come
Now,
my turkey looks better?
I don't know if he does realistic stuff or not, but he definitely does some cool
Impressionistic?
things. Yeah, it might be considered impressionistic.
Lose excess paint, and it blends all this together.
Yeah, this is it.
There we go. We're painting mountains, as you know. You always want the top of the mountain to be more distinct than the bottom of the mountain, because at the bottom we have mist, and now we have wonderful pollution.
So before I knew that I had ASMR,
Right.
and I was a teenager, I would sit there with Bob Ross on, smoke a little herb and just sit there and
Get
just
lost.
absolutely zone out into it and have no idea why I liked him so much.
Did you ever get inspired to attempt to paint along with him?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
I have no artistic ability whatsoever. At a younger age, I had tried. I had a friend who was a decent artist, and he gave me a canvas and Steve. There was a house with chimney coming out of it, and Daisy and the family. I mean, it was just terrible. It was horrible.
Curly smoke coming out.
Oh, yeah, just bad. The sun in the corner.
Yeah, with the lines coming out. Yeah.
With the rays
Hey,
coming
son,
out
you
of it.
can't see the whole sun, but just a quarter.
Anyhow, he said he said about Bruce. He said, "I was surprised at how hard he tried." He was like, "How do you do this, John? How do you make this
This is
work?"
terrible.
We're trying to.
It stinks. I can't draw. Why'd you make me do this? I don't want to do it. This is stupid.
Like a little kid.
I can't draw.
This is stupid.
I tried to draw a cat. Why did you make me do this? God damn it.
He just starts stamping. On the wire on round 1 of MMR's Jersey Shore 64. The first round wraps up, I believe, on Thursday. So if you go to WMMR.com, you can check out the full bracket listing, and it's all things Jersey Shore. There's all kinds of different things you can vote on as they battle against each other, and it's a chance for you to win $500 at the end of it all. And then one of the Jersey Shore institutions is going to get a live broadcast from Pierre Robert from the establishment, whatever it may be. So
It could be a whole bunch of things. I love this. I love that you can win the $500, Preston.
Yeah.
And I also love that a lot of these places attention's being drawn to them.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, Pierre could end up broadcasting live from Lucy, the elephant, or he could end up at Congress Hall or the Cape May Zoo or
a bridge.
Seaport Pier.
Yeah.
He could end up at anywhere. He could end up at Powhatan on one of their tiki boats. There we know. Pow! So vote now, and it's sponsored by DHY Motorsports, MMR's Jersey 64, Jersey Shore 64, WMMR.com to get to that. All right, so how about we do a little Survey Says this morning? It's been a couple weeks. So these are various surveys that are asked of Americans on a variety of subjects, and with vacations being planned now, I thought this one would be a good way to kick it off. It's a poll of 2,000 U.S. travelers and reveals some of their cleaning habits before they go on vacation. So, Kathy, obviously I thought of you.
Yeah, she's the most antiseptic of the lot.
You don't really need to clean your house before you leave for vacation because it's already clean, probably.
Right, but you don't, I get this, you don't want to come home to a mess.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So the average American starts prepping for their trip more than 2 weeks before they go.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Exact
I
time.
am a big cat. Marissa is not a pre-planner
Marissa is
for vacation.
10 minutes before vacation.
Yeah.
Marissa says pull the pin out and drop the grenade.
Yes.
Kathy, you might have shared this with me, or I forget where I heard it, but a nice tip, something to come home to is clean sheets. So make your bed, do the bedding before you leave, and then when you get home from vacation, after you've hopefully been sleeping in nice hotels, you come home and your bed at home feels like a hotel bed.
Feels so good.
So we at our shore house, before we leave, we clean it from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Because I told my wife, I'm like, our everyday house is a bit of a wreck. I'm like, I don't want this to be that. So I want this to be like when you go into a hotel room and everything is fresh and clean when you walk in the door.
It's vacation.
That's the way. Yes, I want it to feel like vacation.
I
has
like that.
begun.
Yeah, of course. You don't want to walk in and find a raccoon, in your garbage.
So we put in a couple hours work before we leave, but when we come back, it's a total payoff.
Wait, your house at home is a wreck?
It's kind of a wreck,
Does Rochelle need me to come over? Or
probably.
Who cleans the moat?
We're cluttery people. It's not ridiculous. You wouldn't walk in and go, "Oh my God,
this is disgusting."
We're not going to let you upstairs.
No,
We talked about this.
Yeah.
We talk about there are, and this is a subtopic, and I don't want to go off the rails here.
Yeah.
But people who they know that their house is in a constant state of disarray, and you probably have them friends who you really have never gone over to the house because. That's it. That's their natural state of living.
I also think that there are people that don't know that's just how they live.
Oh, you're a hoarder.
Well, not a hoarder, but definitely a lot of mess and clutter. And so
I think it's cute that you keep your dead cats.
No, but they invite you in and you're like,
oh,
okay.
Oh.
All right then.
You're a feral creature.
Yeah, no, nobody needs to come upstairs.
What is the one room that is your nuclear reactor? Keep everyone out at all costs.
It's the master bedroom.
Yeah, master bedroom.
Because all the laundry ends up in there. That's mainly it. The laundry that has not been put away yet is still in baskets. It's laying around. We need to sort it. We need to fold it. We need to put it away. So it's cluttery in that regard. And then there's just stuff and things. And, Rochelle has an area where we keep all of our stuff for gifts and whatnot, wrapping paper bags and stuff like that. And it kind of all
so that's not put
it's
away.
not organized.
What about your taxidermy room?
Yeah. The taxidermy room is
all the dead
come on
animals.
in. Yeah. come on
For
in.
me, it would be, actually, I'm pretty good. When I leave the house, my room is very put together. I make my bed every morning.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It is we're pretty good. The room that would probably be for my wife, she has her own floor.
Is it not as tidy as yours?
No. It's just no. I wouldn't say it's not tidy. It's maybe a little more in disarray. She'd be less inclined to allow people to go up than I would be into my bedroom.
Well, just getting back to the vacation thing real quick. Coming home, one time we came home from a family vacation when I was a kid, and our house had become infested with fleas.
Oh my God!
And so we walked in, and I don't think any amount of cleaning would have worked ahead of time. It was, either a cat or a dog that we had at the time had fleas, and we walked in and got
sucks.
Kathy, we left right away
immediately.
Set off the flea bomb, and then we're gonna go back to hotel.
Oh, and it was probably you turned the air conditioning off or down, so they just festered in there.
So going back, yes, to the vacations, 2/3 of the folks, 66%, were so excited about their upcoming trip, it motivates them to clean first. Chores they prioritize are laundry, dishes, the bathroom, and sweeping and mopping. About half of those surveys said they dread the thought of having to clean when they return, so they do it before traveling.
Do you know why this is a non-starter for me? Because we never leave without, like, my brother-in-law will come and stay at the house because we have all the animals. So we're never closing a house and leaving.
Right.
It's always active.
Yes.
So that this is something I never consider.
Yeah. So, and then Kathy, I'm curious about this. Some people don't stop at cleaning their home. They also clean their most used travel items like luggage and travel bags. You clean your luggage.
I mean, I will clean it when I get home, and I'm not like scrubbing my luggage. But
you don't pre-clean it when you're packing. You don't really get it all spick and span.
Because I mean, they're throwing it around down there. There's grease. There's whatever. So when I get home, if there's stains on it, I will try to clean it off.
Grease down there, Preston.
There's grease.
Grease down there. You gotta put that in that greasy plane.
Well, I have
Grease monsters.
I have a white
Grease people.
I have a white and purple luggage, and yes, I get grease stains on it every time I fly somewhere.
There's grease on my white and purple.
Do you have multiple luggage that has the same theme to it, or looks the same? Okay, it matched luggage.
Does it say Kathy forever?
And then I also have pineapples. Remember my pineapples?
Because you swing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So anyhow, yes, if you clean before you leave, then you are not alone. 75% of people like to clean before they leave. All right, so how about this one? This poll was 2,000 adults, and this is about people saying they get a workout from daily tasks and don't need to go to the gym.
Yeah, I was just talking about this.
Yeah, you were.
I
don't think this is true.
No, this is not true. You have to do. For example, I was talking about it in regards to for in other words, for preparation for prostate surgery. If you do the robotic prostate surgery, they tell you at least need to be doing a 2-mile walk every day. And a lot of times the guys I will talk to, if they are going in for that surgery, and I'm giving a little bit of counsel on what they can expect, they say, well, I do that during the course of a day. I'm like, no.
No, you don't.
No. You have to concentrate and do a 2-hour consistent, at least, I mean, not 2-hour, 2-mile walk.
Yeah.
And then that's doing it.
Yeah,
but
the key is keeping your heart rate up and it
that's it.
Going.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing that I mean, as far as household chores is concerned, that I would put into this category is yard work, right? So
yard work's a different thing.
I'm like, I consider that to be, I'm out there sweating, I'm moving things and
arranging succulents.
Yeah.
Man, I was weeding over the weekend, Casey, and I felt like I did a million squats yesterday morning. And like I was limping around, and it was all just the bending down and picking them up.
6 in 10 swear they get all the exercise they need without ever going to the gym. In fact, 54% say they never go to the gym at all. People feel they get enough exercise by doing everyday activities like walking around the neighborhood.
If you're a farmer, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, if you go out for a walk, I mean, that's
exercise.
That's not an everyday activity.
But here's the thing I think about walking, and I see people taking leisurely walks. I think it needs to be at least a brisk walk, right?
Power walk.
You can do
not like one of those speed walkers.
If you do a walk, like you're walking with intent, and you do that, that will give you the same benefits physically as jogging.
Well, not really, because your heart rate's not going to go up as much.
If you check all of the data, it suggests if you're doing a fairly brisk walk and a jog, the benefits are the same.
Huh. Okay. Also, 60% say taking the stairs is enough exercise for the day. I take the stairs every morning. I definitely don't think it's enough exercise for the day. I think it's some additional exercise.
Yeah, it's like a good thing to do.
Yeah.
We have many flights of stairs in our house, and people will come in and they'll be like, you do this every day, and now we just robotically do it. So, yeah, we have our built-in Stairmaster.
And do you have a bathroom or powder room on the first floor?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay.
So we have that, but we don't really. I go up to we're up and down those stairs all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Casey, speaking to what you said, 59% said doing yard work is enough exercise for
your
the
own
day.
Yard.
Cleaning the house is enough exercise.
I'll get sweaty sometimes doing that.
Walking the dog, 56% said that. All right, here's one for you. Here's where we get a little interesting. Bringing the groceries inside the house.
Come on.
You got to go in and out several times and lift those bags.
Yeah, I got 2 bags of ice yesterday. My daughter had some friends over, and I was carrying those things. And I believe it or not, as I was walking out, of the supermarket with these 2 bags. And I was like, this feels like a workout.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, this absolutely, positively, like feels like a workout.
Yeah, and you've been going to the gym a lot. You can compare.
So maybe how many sets would you equate that with?
1.
Okay. So, yes, you need to be doing more than that.
I think so.
Yeah. Also, gardening, 40% said that. Taking out the trash.
Oh, my God.
No,
that's
just
exhausting.
rolling it out. What are you taking out each item one at a time?
Several floors.
Here's the lid to that cup.
What job did you guys have that was the most physically taxing? Like you felt like you worked out at the end of the job.
Actual like job.
Yeah, I worked at a landscaping company for a stretch, and that was maybe the best shape I've ever been in my life because I was working out every day and it felt great. And by the end of every day, I was freaking exhausted.
I worked in a catalog warehouse. So you'd be moving.
Oh, yeah.
This one shipment would be a salt and pepper shaker, and the other would be a canoe.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
The hardest physical labor job I ever had was just working in a kitchen.
It's busy, man.
Dishwasher. That was it. I mean, it was definitely tiring, but I knew people who, there's definitely harder.
When you were tasting things, though, you were essentially curling when you're taking the spoon
right.
out.
Right. Yep.
Mine was probably lifeguarding. I mean, you sit, but we would, swim in between our breaks or before or after. So there was always some sort of physical activity that came along with it.
Right. Also, people include stretching after getting out of bed.
That's not
exercise.
Simply activating your body after sleep isn't a workout.
I mean, listen, I felt during COVID when I worked at home for a few months or whatever it was, a few weeks, I would stretch in between the breaks because I was basically in sweatpants. And so when we would go to break, I would stretch. I can't tell you how much better my body felt. I didn't feel as though it was exercise or when I think of exercise, I'm thinking of cardio and getting my heart rate up, but I did feel much better.
You can stretch here if you want in the studio.
We need to have a stretching session.
Yeah. 33% said doing the dishes.
Stop it.
What kind of exercise is that?
Maybe if you're Riverside, doing the dishes.
What?
Yeah. Fighting off crocodiles.
This is ridiculous.
Standing on their feet for at least 4 hours.
Is swabbing your ears in there?
There's another one.
I don't like standing. Standing just to stand.
I'm standing just to stand.
I don't know how you do
I'm
that.
taking a stand.
Listen, people who stand on their feet like someone who does hair for a living, like a stylist or something like that, that would kill my back.
Yeah.
That would absolutely destroy my back.
That's why I have my super duper cushion pad below me.
Yes.
To avoid that from standing on a hard
ergonomics,
surface.
Steve. Yes.
It's made of a space-age polymer.
And then helping the kids get ready for school, people said, is
Come on,
exercise.
kids.
I mean, there are times where I'm sweating, getting everything together, thinking, why am I doing this? And he's not.
Kath, I saw something the other day I thought was kind of fun. You would like it was an exercise program. It's with if you have a baby. And it's dancing with the baby.
Oh,
have you seen that?
I've seen similar, yes.
Yeah.
Like the little workouts for moms while holding the baby.
While holding the baby,
Yeah.
like they're dancing around the it was pretty cool. And so, you've got this kid that weighs, 8, 10 pounds or whatever it is. So that's a weight. It's almost like having a weighted ball or something like a medicine ball. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they were
breakdancing.
But anyhow, so these are what people think they get a workout from and don't need to go to the gym for. Doing the dishes.
Being active is one thing, and anything that you're doing that's keeping you active is good. But doing the dishes probably doesn't constitute a workout.
God, you are buff. What have you been doing?
Oh, I've been cleaning dishes.
Yeah.
The Olympics are coming up, and I want to make sure I'm dude, you are jacked. What are you doing? I've been cleaning out cups.
Hang on, I'm going to go to Andrew real quick. Andrew, good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen and ladies. How are you? My brother-in-law owns the Ice Butler in Malvern, and when I was a teenager, I would obviously work for him and get in the best shape, just lifting 40 pounds of ice, 8 pounds of ice, 16 pounds of ice, day in and day out, hours at a time.
Oh, sure, man. Yeah, you're moving weight.
Absolutely. Like delivery guys who are moving, appliances all day.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a workout.
Yep.
Yeah, but those are appliances. We're not talking about frozen water here. We're talking about metal.
No, all my appliances are made of frozen water.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah, no, I believe it, Andrew. Thank you, by the way. Yeah, so my son's a delivery for Amazon.
Yeah.
Some of the packages are heavy, but just that getting in and out, he will have like 180 stops a day.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
I'll tell you who gets a workout if you're talking about whoever delivers for the company Chewy.
Oh yeah. I get yes.
Those guys, I anytime I see them, I'm like, thank you so much, because they're delivering boxes of kitty litter.
Oh, I can't carry
It's
the box
super
that comes
heavy.
to my house
Yeah.
each month. I can't carry it in.
Wow. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here from Survey Says? All right. Here is truly a stupid one. This is from MSN.com.
Oh, I love the stupid ones.
How do you celebrate your birthday? This is a birthday poll from MSN.com.
Pretend it's not happening.
My birthday's coming up.
Oh, that's right.
1% say they have a big party. 13% said a fun night out.
I think last year was an interesting way for me to celebrate it. It was to have no one acknowledge it and nothing happened.
Wow.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Yeah.
And how did you feel about that?
I felt enriched, and
Yeah,
I felt
I'm
like
sure.
I mattered.
Yeah.
Today's my dad's birthday. I forgot to mention that earlier. Happy 77th, Tom McElwain. And we're just taking him out to dinner tonight.
So, by the way, speaking of your birthday, that's my anniversary.
Yeah.
It's next week.
Yeah.
It is our 25th anniversary. And Rochelle and I cannot figure out anything special to do at all.
What day of the week is it?
Like nothing. It's
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
You should dine out into the stars and media. That's what you should do.
No, I mean, like,
Does it have to be Wednesday?
not necessarily. So we're getting, we kind of, it's just the anniversary thing. We're kind of like, I don't know. We have everything we want. We have everything we need right now.
May I suggest something?
We're about ready to have a complete redo on our deck out back, Sequoia Outback. We just went there yesterday to order our stuff. I'm like, can that just be our wedding anniversary gift to each other? You know?
How about your gift is? I know,
But
Kathy.
listen, I'm straight up asking her, and she's asking me, and we're both coming up with nothing.
Because if you agree to that, and if that's the case, you can do your flourishes. But the truth of the matter is that you're giving each other the gift of not having to sweat or go drive yourselves crazy.
But it's 25.
I know.
It's a biggie.
That's the deck anniversary, I think.
It's the deck anniversary.
It is the deck.
Deck-iversary.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you like spas and stuff like that?
I do.
Okay.
I like a massage.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. This is what I think you should
From
do.
a tug
because
joint or a real,
A real one.
You have
Tugs are nice, but yeah.
You have a beach house. You do the beach a lot. The mountains, the Poconos, is completely different in the summertime.
Because it's higher.
There is a place called the Lodge at Woodlock.
I'm familiar.
You
Yeah.
have to go. Like, if you have not been there, it is worth the experience. Go for 2 days, and you do. It is, Preston. It's incredible.
You can book it now for $20.94.
Yeah, right.
It's very popular,
I know.
right?
But hey, listen. Maybe we could reach out to a little PR person over there.
But that's why she said we need to do it right away.
I know
So-
someone at your dumb bitch PR. Perhaps
Yeah.
they can get us in there.
All right. So anyway, back to birthdays. Thank you for the suggestion, Kathy. By the way, 39. The most people said that they have a at home. At home with families. How they celebrate their birthday. 49% said, and 37% said they don't celebrate their birthday. That is a pretty high number.
I've never understood the and listen, you to each his own. It is your right to do however you want to do it and however you see fit. There are people who are just who literally lapse into a depression, and I'm like,
doesn't bother me.
I think that as long as your eyes are open, you're still in the game.
I'm still alive.
Yeah.
I literally went through the entire progression of that list. I used to do like huge parties, invite everyone I knew for like my 24th. Like, it wasn't even, I had a huge surprise party for my 25th. They had a huge surprise party for me for my 25th. We went on vacation for my 30th. Like, a whole group of people went away on vacation. And now I'm like, let's pretend it doesn't happen. I'm so depressed. I'm not getting out of bed.
Oh, really?
I don't like it
I
anymore.
just want a Slim Jim and a glass of wine.
A Slim Jim? You couldn't think of something else? I'm now in bed eating Slim Jims?
Tabasco flavored or
Give me
regular?
another Slim Jim.
Sounds like a pretty good birthday to me, Kevin. Slim Jims and wine.
And bring this wine up to the edge if you would.
This year for my birthday, I get to go see Dave Matthews in Camden. So I get to celebrate with a concert. Do you think he'll say hi to me on stage?
I hope so.
Happy birthday.
I hope so.
We got Travis in the audience tonight.
Travis.
What's your name, right, Travis?
By the way, that was like the talk at Jace's baseball game.
About me calling the guy Travis all morning long,
because
all day long.
a bunch of people that I was with, they know Jake, so everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that's something Jake would do. That's something Jake would do."
It is something I would do for sure. So yeah, 37% said they don't celebrate their birthday. Do you expect gifts on your birthday was also a question.
Yes.
No.
14% said yes. 86% said no.
Oh, who are those people?
Right?
I don't, and you know what? It's wonderful. Actually, the one thing I do love is when Claire will make me chocolate chip cookies.
Well, that's a gift, right?
Yeah. It's wonderful. That's all I need.
It doesn't have to be an expensive
No.
gift.
All right.
Something from Aramis.
Do you celebrate birthdays for other adults? 24% said yes. 34% said only friends and family. 28% said only family. And 14% said no. How about this one? How old is too old to make a big deal out of a birthday?
Dead.
There's 30, 40, 50, and never too old.
To make a really big deal, I think, well, as you start to get higher in age, now those are benchmark moments. The earlier birthdays are wonderful because this is this new life. But I think there's a certain point where it's easier to write off a birthday here and there. When you're over like 80.
Yeah, but why? I would think like if somebody's turning 85 or someone's turning 90,
you want to make something about that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah, those are the ones you want to say, hey.
The biggest response was never too old at 69%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a big deal out of a birthday. 8% said 50, or 40. 5% said 40, and
Have you ever
18% said
thrown a
30.
birthday party for yourself? Have you ever had a birthday event for yourself?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, neither would I.
No.
Oh, plenty of people do that. They plan the party and then they put their, husband or wife's name on it.
Oh, really?
Right.
Like they planned it. Yeah.
Have you ever traveled to celebrate a milestone birthday?
Yes.
You have? Okay. Where'd you go?
We went back to Dreams Tulum. Remember we did one of our mystery trips there.
Yeah.
And I for my 30th, we went back there.
Okay.
For my 30th and a whole bunch of college friends, Kathy, we went to Vegas, and that was a mistake. There was just 4 days of Vegas. It was like 2.5 days too many.
In July.
And we stayed at the Pyramid one, the Luxor, and I mean, look, it was fun. It was
Luxor was cool.
But Steve, it was just an exhausting 4-day celebration.
I one of my friends that I just went away with when we were in the Crest over this weekend. We were had a girls' weekend, and she in 3 years she's turning 50. So she's like, guys, turning 50 in 3 years, and like simultaneously we all said, where are we going?
Yeah,
right.
a trip of it.
The Crest.
All right, so these are little birthday stats. The survey says. All right, next one up. Let's see. This is the top things that are annoying Americans right now. New poll asked 2,000 American adults about what's been annoying them the most in the last few months. Number one on this list are grocery prices at 47%. Number two, politicians at 41%.
Well, you can keep that a perpetual. That's always going to make top three.
Number three, so I'll skip over kind of the obvious ones, and we'll get to the more fun ones. Someone else's driving or driving habits is number three of the most annoying things.
I think people are just always on edge the second they get in that driver's seat of the car. And I'm not immune to that. I'm trying not to be, but like people are just, honking like 2 seconds after the light turns green.
That makes me want to jump out and strangle them.
What you're doing is, I think for a lot of people, it's a spigot that allows them to funnel through all the anxiety and BS they've been putting up with. And so what they do is they take it. I saw a guy yesterday on City Line he must have committed 5 horribly illegal traffic moves in the course of a minute.
I saw one. I'm sorry, Casey. I saw one too. I saw this gal. She did like 3 things in a row that were clearly, like flat out running red lights, going around on the shoulder to get around traffic to make a left quickly before the other people.
Twice.
I was like, okay. And part of me was like, is there an emergency?
Yeah.
The other part of me was like, you a-hole, what are you doing?
So this left shoulder, right shoulder, Preston, and then where the city line, where the bridge is, or that goes over, where there's signs that say you cannot make a left there.
Yeah.
There is no left. Don't make a left. Makes a left.
Could you imagine treating people in everyday life the same way we treat the people as we're driving? Do you know what I mean? Like if you were just like walking down the street and then all of a sudden you're like, come on! Like is somebody makes a left.
It's almost social media because it's almost like social media anonymity. It has a familial aspect to it with that because you're in your car and they don't quite know you and so all the things that you normally try to be civil or at least you wouldn't say that to someone directly. in your car, like Kathy, like you dumb bitch.
Well,
right?
your car is kind of like armor around you.
It is.
To be honest. And so you feel
But like, would you ever
safer.
say, "You dumb bitch,"
Right.
to somebody who walked down the aisle before you at the grocery store,
Yeah,
or
right,
you know what I mean?
Yesterday, I was at the grocery store and I'm zipping along and I know where I want to be. Okay, and I'm walking and this woman comes through the aisle and we almost collided. I stopped real quick and I went around and I go, "Oh, sorry," and I smiled. And like she scowled at me.
I know.
I'm like, I smiled and said, "I apologize." She didn't say anything and scowled, and I'm like, "Wow."
There's a whole. I'm
You
sorry, Nick.
dumb bitch.
You dumb bitch.
Supermarket etiquette. You bring up a point.
Yeah.
If you are standing and you are looking at something on the shelves, and I walk and you're back, and I have to walk between you and what you're looking at. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Right? Common.
It's a courtesy.
When you give an apology and that apology is not accepted for whatever reason, that's a weird, empty feeling. I made the mistake of walking through somebody's yard. I was on the phone. I wasn't paying attention to where I was walking, and this guy was on his back deck. And clearly, this was a place where a lot of people have walked through his yard before, and he hates it.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't paying attention. I was in the wrong. So he said, kind of aggressively, but he was in the right. "Sir, you're not allowed to walk through here. Please don't do that." Or I don't think he said, "Please don't do that." I was like, "Oh, man. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I really apologize." And he's like, "Yeah, don't ever do it again." And I was like, I said, "I'm sorry."
Ever do it again.
Yeah. And he's like, and I said, "I'm sorry." And he's like, "Yeah, it's a problem." And I was like,
Oh my
Where
God.
was this?
"What's that?"
Where was this?
I'll show you.
Okay.
And then I was like, and then so after the second genuine apology on my part that was not accepted by this guy, I felt like, all right, I've made an effort to be civil here.
You could have hung. Here's what you do: throw a real 180 into it. Go. You have very muscular thighs.
Well, yeah, right. Compliment him. But my final
thank you.
My final response was, "It'll never happen again. Don't worry."
Yeah.
Because I knew that I was never going to walk past that guy's house again.
Now I'm going to come back and kill you and your family.
I was walking outside. I was on State Street Media. This is a few years ago with my kids. My kids were a lot younger at this point. This guy parked his car, and my child, he kind of like stumbled off of the street a little bit and touched this guy's car. And this dude, I mean, he touched it with his hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a child.
Yeah, and it's a child. And this dude gets out of his car and starts barking. And I don't remember the exact exchange, but I remember my first response being, "I'm so sorry. He just stumbled off of the thing."
Yeah.
And then it wasn't good enough for him, and he doubled down. And I was like, "Bro, I swear to God, I'm going to pound you into like unexistently. I don't even know the word." I was like, "Oh," I was like,
Listen, I want to pound you into something. Can you help me?
Yeah, no. But because we were sitting there, we were talking to a guy who had a beautiful Great Dane, and that's why we were even standing where we were standing. We were having a nice, great conversation. This dude just comes out, and I'm like, "It's not even that nice of a car." You know what I mean?
Did you threaten him, or was this okay?
Yes, but no. Like,
Okay.
I don't threaten people because then I could, like, you can get arrested for stuff like that,
Right.
terroristic threats when you're like, you know what I mean? But
You follow the Dalton rule.
but like,
Somebody yelled at my dad one time because he parked next to their car.
what?
What the hell's wrong with you people?
I don't know. That was ages ago, though, so it's been around for a while. Other things, the most annoying things that are most annoying Americans lately, number 4, 23% crowds.
Yeah, I don't
Crowds, yes.
The weather is on here at number 5 as well.
It's too hot.
That's more like rain bothers me, but I think it's because of the dogs. You know,
Yeah.
You gotta
Who
go
let
out.
the dogs out?
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say because I actually don't mind if it rains. It gives me the excuse to be like, okay, we're not going out today.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do today. It's raining, but I don't
Wine
have
and beef jerky.
but I don't have pets that need to go outside. I can
You
see
got to
how
go
that's
outside and track all the stuff
All right.
inside.
Number 6 on this list is customer service.
Oh yeah.
Oh, these are standards, but they're accurate.
Number 7 is social media trends.
Yes.
17%. That's me. Really? This is a thing now? This is a thing we're doing? Okay. Then you have tipping culture at number 8. I kind of see that, but I don't get angry about it or anything like that. You don't have to tip if you don't want to.
You get annoyed? You get annoyed at
No, like well, there was an interesting article that came out recently of a guy who said that his rule is now that if he has to stand up while ordering, he will not tip.
Huh.
Meaning you're not at a
Counter.
table, they don't bring you things, they don't serve you in that manner. If you're at a counter and you stand up, then he won't tip. And I'm like, that sounds reasonable to me.
Like if you're ordering, and they turn
like a kiosk or something
Right.
like that. And they turn it around and says you want to do a
tip.
5% tip
Got
or
it.
whatever. Every now and then I'll do the smallest tip that there is because it's not a standard what we have grown up to see as a tipping service.
So my tipping thing, and my wife is a generous tipper, but she was in a place that was like one of these world peace yogurt, where literally there was just someone sitting behind the counter and you did everything. Like you
served yourself.
Everything, even to the transaction of sliding the card, and then there was a tip amount. And for her to say, no, no way.
Yeah.
I mean, there was, the person literally did nothing.
But you don't have to get angry at seeing that. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You're not expected to.
Start a fire in the alley.
You're not going to be shamed for not tipping. They really, hundreds of customers come through there. They're not going to waste their time over getting mad over you. I don't think anyway.
Local celebrity Preston Elliott failed to tip at a yogurt place today.
Number 9 is people are annoyed by music you don't like.
Come on.
Oh,
come on. Why are people playing other music?
Well, but some of the stuff Jace listens to, I'm like, okay, I've had enough. Turn it off. Turn it off. I've had enough.
Is it rap?
What is
and he's
it?
like,
Is it
oh,
rap?
geez. No, it's that. I told you that dead rapper who like whines and cries. I just don't, I can only take so much
The
of it.
rapper is actually dead?
Yeah. And I got like, Jace gave me crap because he's like, well, the kid died. He's like, real nice, Mom. I was like, well, I still don't like his music.
Are we adding this to things that Kathy hates list?
Yeah, for sure.
Dead rappers.
Dead rappers.
So Tupac, Biggie.
No, but come on. I love Biggie.
Country music annoys me. It does.
But you get
bother me.
angry?
Not mad.
Yeah.
See,
no.
this is, we got to take the word mad out because it's mad is not, it's annoyed.
It says annoy. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Here's the dead rapper that I can't stand.
Triple Extend. How the hell do you even say his name? Extension?
Extent.
Oh,
whatever.
We probably sound like absolute morons to a
Losers.
small group of people
Tentacion?
right now. Yeah.
Is it Tentacion?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I don't hate him. I don't know him, and I'm sad that he's no longer with us. I just hate his music.
Are you really sad that he's no longer?
Yes. But listen, he was a kid. He was young. He was in his 20s.
What happened? Did he get shot?
Yeah, they killed him.
Here, by the way, here's another one. 20. These are things that are annoying Americans lately. TV volume being too loud.
Oh my God! Wait, I can't. It drives me. Turn
Why don't we just make this instead of survey
It's
says?
so
Why don't we just
loud.
make this? What annoys Kathy?
Kathy, you
I
will
can't
kill
take
me.
it.
I can't hear anything.
Me too.
Yeah.
My niece listens to TV, iPad so loud that I literally look at like my brother or my sister-in-law. I'm like, why are you not turning that down?
Can I
Wait,
tell
what is
you,
happening?
at least in a number of cases, and this is a fact, the way audio is mixed these days, if we're talking about shows with dialogue, and I don't know exactly what they're watching, but shows with dialogue are often not mixed properly.
Agreed.
And so that's why you actually have a lot of pitch points for TV sets and sound bars is a voice isolating center channel that allows people to hear the dialogue because they do this wide Dolby spread and you can't quite hear the dialogue. That's why you're having more and more people who actually have no hearing issues whatsoever putting on the subtitles.
I ride the volume. Whenever we as a family are watching TV, they give me the remote and I ride the volume because when it's dialogue parts, I crank it up.
Yep.
And then when a sequence comes in where there's music or it's loud sound effects, I turn it down.
Oh, you're like working.
I totally work during shows.
You like, what is it, Dead Mouse?
Yeah,
Dead Mouse 5.
Dead Mouse 5.
I have an OCD when it comes to volume, and when I'm in control of the volume can only, and if it's numbered, the volume can only end in 0 and 5.
Right. Okay. I remember
I
you
can't
telling us
listen to
that.
volume on 14. It's got to be 15.
I have to do even numbers or 5 numbers that
0
and then
or 5.
Yeah, 0 and 5. Yeah.
Okay.
It's messed up.
Yeah, it is.
It's not 0 5, Nick. You know what's going to happen.
It's really stupid.
so dumb. I can't help it.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
Ticket prices are annoying Americans lately.
I get that one.
Yeah, man.
We hear it a lot.
God, I told you I was looking at Phil's tickets and at the absolute roof.
Yeah.
It's $50 a seat.
I mean,
Is that where you're going to be sitting tonight?
Oh, no. That's tomorrow. No.
List prices for the Stones tickets next week. I mean, it's the Rolling Stones. It's one of the greatest rock bands of all time, but the prices are ridiculous.
What is the basic?
I mean, if the levels are crazy.
Right.
Like but face value downstairs, you can spend over $3,000 per ticket. Like face value. I know.
Press, we have a friend who has 4 kids, and she wants to take her kids to a local amusement park. And she's like, I can't.
Can't afford it?
I can't take. She's like, do I leave the older ones home? She's like, but
Here,
I'm sure
play with matches.
They want to go too.
By the way, big friggin' deal this week is Maury's Piers.
Okay, there you go.
And you get a $50 savings. So for a limited time, you get a same-day ride and water park ticket at Maury's Piers for $70.
I feel like the only way to really fix this issue with ticket prices is collectively 8 billion people need to stop going to things.
Yeah, right?
You know?
Exactly.
And that's just not going to happen.
Nope.
You know?
Yeah. There's a bunch of other things on this list, but we should probably take a break, Case, because we've got...
Because people hate long lists.
No, we have Kevin Costner stopping by today, and he's going to be around 9:30. We got to make sure we stay somewhat on time. But nonetheless, this has been Survey Says. We'll bring it to you again on another occasion. We will come back in a second. Some bizarre file stories. You're going to love them. They're wild. So stay with us. We'll return shortly.
Want that?
In one spot.
Let's play with the ball. Stupid paint.
For a double shot of MMR new music world premieres from the two biggest bands at MMRBQ. Hailstorm.
Can you see me?
He would say,
Told you I don't want to do this.
He would say, hey, John, how do you do this? How do I make this work?
Stupid.
He said,
It doesn't look like anything. I'm not good.
No, you are.
I'm not.
No, you are.
I don't like this.
Trust me. It looks good.
It's not that bad.
He's throwing a tantrum.
He'd rather go outside and play.
Yeah.
You've never done this before. Cut yourself some slack.
I can't. I'm stupid.
You're not stupid, Bruce.
You stupid.
You just need to work a little harder.
I want some milk.
Okay, we'll go get some milk and then we'll try this again later. Okay.
Bring it in the purple cup.
John. Hey, that's important to a kid.
Oh, of course.
He said, we're trying to figure out how to sell it and give the money to charity. He said, but I was proud of him. He went after it.
Do I get a gold star?
Very proud of you.
I know, but you don't like it because you didn't put it on the refrigerator. So you say things that are not true.
Oh my God.
If you liked it a lot, you would put it on the refrigerator, and you did.
I'm bringing it
and
to
then
work.
you make me feel stupid.
I was so busted
no.
from the refrigerator to the trash can. Why is this in here? I was like, oh, that was a mistake. I don't know what happened. It must have come off with some of the other stuff. I'm so sorry.
Oh, my God.
I keep that stuff. Kathy throws it away. Jace, come over to my house. We'll appreciate it. Whenever you guys are ready, this is Froggy on MMR. Here we go.
I love nachos. Nachos from 7-Eleven. I know that they're bad for me, but when I eat them, I'm in heaven. 7-Eleven nachos. 7-Eleven nachos. 7-Eleven nachos. Liquid topping tastes so good. Post-band practice, I buy them. I eat them in Fiona's kitchen. Best, worst nachos in the world. They're the only thing I want. 7-Eleven nachos. 7-Eleven nachos. 7-Eleven nachos. You would have some if you could. I think they taste pretty good. 7-Eleven nachos are like $4.20. That's a funny number, but I should know the price by now, but I really don't. The cheese is so good, it's all bright orange. Yeah! Oh, nachos! The cheese! Yeah! 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 Wow! 7-Eleven nachos.
I love that. I love the lyric. They taste pretty good.
I love it. And the original recording, I couldn't hear everything where you go, I highly recommend it. I love that. And by the way, you know who's a fan of this band? Nikki freaking Sixx is a fan of Froggy.
He's our best friend. I love that guy.
He wanted a Froggy T-shirt, right? Isn't that the deal? Did you guys get him one?
Oh, yeah. We were like, he was like, how much? We were like, do not even worry about it. Like, for you, it's free.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, my God. That is the best. I love it. So I want to hear, so, you know, when we ask somebody to do a song for us, to do a jingle or whatever, you never know if they'll go, yeah, right, whatever. But these guys were like, oh, of course, we'll totally do that. So we were totally psyched about that. Did it take a while to come up with something, or was it pretty easy to come to you immediately?
It kind of came to us immediately. We kind of used the riff we had in store. We just didn't know what to put lyrics with it, and we're like, this is the perfect riff to do it with. And we had 2 drafts of the lyrics, but we came up with something good.
Okay.
And yeah, we're really excited.
So the world debut.
Yeah.
And what is the title of the song?
No title
No
yet.
title.
It's the
No
Preston
untitled.
Steve
All right.
song.
All right. So I'm excited for this, and I want to make sure we get a good recording of it. This might be our only chance to get it. Unless it ends up on an album.
Sure, in the future we will record it.
All right.
yes.
We appreciate that.
November. I guess it's November now.
It is.
Soon.
By the way, let's check this out, and then we'll find out where any gigs and things like that are coming up. Okay. So can we get the Preston Steve song?
Sure.
All right, let's check this out. Froggy, I'm so excited they're here this morning. These guys, they got heart, man. I love it.
Real
All right,
deal.
Whenever you're ready.
We got to have that.
It's Friday. Did you hear that at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's our new Friday anthem if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was outstanding. I couldn't hear exactly what was being said in the middle there.
The third part was no school for me, Mom. I don't want to go. I just want to listen to the radio.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, no, we need that. Yes.
Old
absolutely.
school angst. I love it.
Love it. We're honored.
Do you guys have any gigs coming up that we need to be aware of?
New Year's Eve at Philomoka with Colleen Green and Joe Jack Talcum. It's
Okay.
going to be awesome. Yep, it's our biggest show. And something early December in the works, not fully planned out yet. We're actually taking November off to record a little something.
Yeah, very nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Well, you keep us surprised of what your dates are, and we'll get them out for you, man.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
thank you.
People who love straight up punk are gonna love this this energy that you guys have.
So that New Year's Eve show, all ages show, or
Yep,
is it
all ages.
Okay. Speaking of ages, how old are we all here? So Morgan, how old are you?
18.
And Brooke?
I'm 18.
And how about you, Fiona?
17.
18, and 17 years old.
They're so damn good, though, man. They really are. It's great.
Hey, what are you guys doing the second or third Saturday in May of 2022?
Nothing that I know of.
Oh, all right.
Free.
Yeah, just
I'm free.
keep those Saturdays open. Just
Dude, that would be awesome.
Oh, I'm like, what is he talking about? What is
The
second-
barbecue.
Got it.
And them barbecue.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes
Froggy.
Well, this morning I quit my job, so I know I'll be over.
Oh, my God. Wait, Brooke, did you quit your job to be here?
Well, not exactly, but today was just the day where everybody was like, do it. Just do it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right,
Like
that's
an
so
hour ago.
punk. That's so punk of you. I love it. And you're wearing a Ween shirt. That's really cool. Have those guys reached out to you at all? Or is it not a Ween shirt?
We've been talking to Gene Ween's son about maybe collaborating on our album. That was a while ago, but I hope he's still interested.
right.
Yeah,
I love Ween
Ween's
so much.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember there was Push Little Daisies.
Yeah. They're out of New Hope, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm a roses are free kind of guy.
I'm a very chocolate and cheese and God Ween Satan girl. Those are my favorites.
Excellent. All right, well, one of the songs we requested, I got a nice slice of pizza here ready for this, was Pizza Ball.
Oh, yeah.
What's the name of your LP or your EP that you have, your album?
Sopa de elote translates roughly to corn soup or corn chowder. I picked something random. I was like, guys, I think this will sound weird. We had no idea what to do. Yeah, we just kind of picked.
I love it.
Corn soup is fine.
All right, well, let's get one more song out of Froggy this morning. And whenever you guys are ready, we want to hear Pizza Ball.
Woo!
Yeah. All right, let's do this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in live at the Preston Steve Camp Out for Hunger, this is Froggy.
Time to deliver a pizza ball. 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 One time I was 8, my whole family went to the shore, and there's this guy Wayne who's making this clam chowder. It was what he was known for, and it tasted so freaking good. I had like 10 bowls of that clam chowder, and I tell you what, I woke up in the middle of the night. And I said, Mom, and I threw up all over the floor. Someone carried me away, and that's all I remember from that night. Yeah! Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a clam chowder ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a clam chowder ball.
Yes!
That's awesome. That's so great.
I had to shoot the confetti for Froggy in the end. They finally got pyro, man. I love it. You guys are the best. You are so much fun. We love that you're doing just straight up, just in your face pump.
Yeah.
It is the best. And thanks for writing a Preston and Steve Show
of course.
song. We'll make sure we have information on them on our social media accounts, and you can check them out. Let's hear it from Morgan and Brooke and Fiona. This is Froggy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
You got it.
We love you guys.
We love you.
Rats continue to run rampant in the neighborhood. It's happening in the 3600 block of Germantown Avenue. Residents say the rats are living in a vacant lot that's not being attended to by the owner. Right next to the lot is a barbershop that's owned by DJ DeSinga. He says the rodents are burrowing into the ground and under nearby buildings. He says complaints have been made to the city, but not much has been done about the problem.
Kathy, did you see that the rats actually started a barbershop quartet? It was amazing.
The rats are even finding their way into nearby homes. One resident said it jumped up on my couch and went onto the floor, and it had claws.
Wow.
I would die if that happened to me.
Listen to them. They're beautiful.
Good old days, 20 years from now.
Wait a minute. Can you speed that up?
Oh, my, these will be the good old songs that are on the...
I can't speed it up
Damn
while
it!
you're... No, not while you're actually playing it.
But you'll work on it so we can get an actual depiction of the rat barbershop quartet.
Yes, it would be, journalistically appropriate.
Right.
to
Yeah,
get
I mean,
that
come on
a
now.
little bit more
in
accurate.
part
if we
accurate.
can.
Exactly, Preston. That's why you
Actually,
won that
I
award.
think better than speeding it up would be like pitching it up. You know what I mean?
Well, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
somehow
yeah,
or another make it higher. Can you do that? Or
I don't know.
It doesn't
Probably
matter.
not.
You know these will be the good old days.
That just sounds like a key change.
Okay. I'm still...
It's all good.
I'm just playing with it a little bit here.
Listen, it was a threadbare concept to begin with.
You've never produced a rat barbershop quartet before, Casey?
Well, no, but
you
know
call
what?
yourself a major market producer.
I know. All right, so here's...
He was called the Phil Spector of rat barbershop quartet.
The wall of sound.
So with the cold
Wall of
weather months
cheese.
of
So good.
There's a Grammy. You're getting a Grammy.
It's perfect. One more time.
Oh, my God.
They're good. They're really good.
I never thought I'd start my day off this way.
You don't have much else to do. Rehearse their parts.
Yeah, that's why they're so good.
I'm looking at the video of this, and we saw what we thought was a dead rat on our walk the other day.
No.
And well, it's confirmed. I'm looking at these videos because it wasn't huge, so we
Right.
were like, "Is it a mouse? Is it a rat?" No, it
These,
was a rat.
these are more like like field rats,
Right.
So if you get if you've ever been inside of the
Subway,
subway, you're gonna see much larger rats.
Hello, 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 my baby. Hello, my honey.
Even better.
It's so good.
Even better.
Those talented
Hello,
barbershop rats.
hello.
That's just
And they wear the most adorable little white pork pie
straw hats and stuff. Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are having fun with this. These poor people in Hunting Park are dealing with all these damn rats.
Kathy, you just have to laugh, and same with these guys.
Yeah.
With the cold weather months approaching, neighbors fear the rats will only get more desperate. DeSinger says that he doesn't know how he can bring people safely into his business if there's rats in the drop ceiling. A spokesperson for the Philadelphia Department of Public Health said officials have been in the neighborhood to inspect the rat issue and are currently working to get in.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by 80 Moyer Lumber. Trusted expert since 1939. 80 Moyer Lumber is your professional source for decks, windows, doors, kitchens, millwork, and more. You can visit them on the web at admoyer.com. A man's silver chain saved his life after a bullet shot at him became lodged in it.
Whoa.
According to a Colorado Police Department. The chain, about 10 millimeters in width, is likely the only reason the unidentified victim of the Tuesday shooting is still alive. The .22 caliber bullet was fired during an argument and would have ended up in the victim's neck had it not instead become lodged in the chain that he was wearing, according to police. They said as a result, he suffered only a puncture wound. Police did not provide any details about the argument between the victim and the suspect. The victim's current condition was not immediately clear.
And yet people laugh at Flava Flav.
But police shared pictures of the bloodied chain on Facebook showing the bullet mangled within it. The suspect in the shooting, who police did not identify, was arrested at the scene and charged with attempted homicide. Police said they do not know exactly what material the chain is made out of, but it likely was not pure silver. Silver is a fairly soft metal.
Yes, exactly.
So they said, so maybe think twice before you knock a knockoff, the police said in their post. So, yeah, saved his life. A 74-year-old woman believed to have died while in hospice care was found to be breathing after being transported to a funeral home, authorities in Nebraska said. Yeah.
That's an Edgar Allan Poe nightmare right there.
Totally. The woman had been transported from a nursing home where she had been declared dead to the Bethris Masser and Love funeral home on Monday morning. Authorities responded to the funeral home after an employee noticed the woman was breathing and instantly called 911. Funeral home staff conducted CPR on the woman, identified by authorities as Constance Glantz, where she was transported to a hospital, and she remains alive. Her family has been notified. Because this case was a death that was anticipated and there was nothing suspicious about her supposed death.
Jeez.
The nursing home did not have to contact the coroner or local authorities after the woman was declared dead. The sheriff's office is investigating and no criminal charges are
I hope they get the
pending.
receipt.
Wow. In an unusual turn of events, Gwinnett County, Georgia, became the stage for a dramatic police chase not typically seen on its streets. The protagonist, Eddie Sanchez, a 38-year-old former employee, commandeering a 75,000-pound front loader from a waste management facility.
Oh, man.
Leading law enforcement on a pursuit that would culminate in a cinematic fashion. The chase began on Saturday morning when police were alerted to Sanchez's antics on the waste management company's property. Despite attempts from officers and employees to halt Sanchez, he proved unyielding, driving the heavy construction vehicle off the premises onto public roads, creating a scene straight out of an action movie. Now, traditional police vehicles were ineffective in stopping the front loader, and it was at this juncture that an innovative solution emerged from the scenario. An employee from the waste management facility suggested using another front loader to intercept Sanchez.
It's like Transformers fighting.
Totally. With police escort, this employee set out on a mission that would ultimately lead to a confrontation reminiscent of a mechanized gladiator battle. The pursuit saw the employee and the second front loader catching up to Sanchez, who was already miles away from where the theft occurred. With approval from police, the employee executed a maneuver that would see the stolen front loader flipped on its side, effectively bringing the chase to a
I would have
halt.
paid to see that.
Totally.
Do that on pay-per-view.
Sanchez was apprehended and faced multiple charges. Remarkably, the high-stakes operation concluded without injury to civilians or damage to other vehicles.
That has to be the next big thing.
Sanchez,
front loader fights.
previously terminated from the company, had reportedly engaged in similar behavior days before the incident, though not leaving the property. So
it's amazing.
They actually got another guy in there to tip him over. I love it. A Queens couple pulled a safe with $100,000 in cash inside from the bottom of a lake in Corona Park while magnet fishing. The two anglers, James Kane and Barbie Agostini, tossed a line with a strong magnet on the end of the water into the water on Friday afternoon. When they felt something bulky on the end, they pulled out an old safe.
Doesn't Jace do this, kid?
He does have a magnet fishing kit, yes.
Like this is the big thing.
And they him and his friend desperately want to get something. The only thing we've gotten was like a part of a car bumper.
That's it?
Yeah.
But I mean, they have like professional kits now for this.
They were able to pry the safe open and find the discovery, which was unfortunately ruined by the water, wrapped in plastic. Kane said it was 2 stacks of freaking hundreds, big stacks.
Freaking hundreds.
Kane said as veteran magnet fisherman, he and Agostini had found plenty of safes before, most of which are empty, save for some plastic bags used to hold cash. He expected this one to be the same. Agostini thought he was joking. She said, he showed me, and once I saw the actual dollars in the security ribbons, I lost it. Unfortunately, the bills were soaking wet, pretty much destroyed, Kane said. They called the NYPD to avoid any legal trouble. A number of cops arrived just to check out the bizarre call that had come over the radio, and they told the couple that they'd never seen anything like it. With no way to ID the owner of the safe, which was likely stolen, Kane and Agostini were allowed to keep what they found. So I don't know how much of it they'll be able to dry out and actually get what it's worth or not.
There have been stories about money that's been pretty destroyed that they were able to, I don't know if you call it get credit for or trade it in for its value.
I know. I understand if you have 51% of the bill, if it's good, then it's still worth what it's printed as. So I don't know. Among the other finds include of the two, a World War II era grenade they pulled out of Sheep's Head Bay in Brooklyn and 6 or 7 guns, some dating back to the 19th century.
If you were to go magnet fishing around here, where would you go to get the most inventive, interesting stuff? I mean, the Schuylkill, obviously.
Probably. Or maybe this reservoir right over here.
Oh, see what's in there, yeah.
All right, and then finally one last story, and then we'll wrap it up. A lobster-themed monster truck performing for spectators in Maine clipped an aerial power line, toppling several utility poles and sending 2 people to the hospitals. Others suffered minor injuries. The Topsham Fairgrounds was hosting the monster truck event on Saturday when a vehicle dubbed the Crush Station bounced up a ramp, went airborne, and hit the power line. Video showed people scrambling as they snagged a power line, triggered a cascade of events with several utility poles and transformers falling near the grandstands with live wires on the ground. A participant said he watched in disbelief for a moment just before jumping to action to move away. He saw just how close the transformer came to him and his son when he watched a video. He said, when I saw it, I was like, holy smokes, that's crazy.
Holy smokes, that crustacean done tore down that transformer.
Crush Station. And that is what I have in the bizarre file for you. All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back in just a moment or two. Like I said, Kevin Costner joining us a little later on, so hang out for a bit. We'll be right back.
It's unclear when the problem will be resolved.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you
Rat. Hello. 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 Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Check out the events and appearances page at WMMR.
I would go see a show like that for sure. Wow. I had a little adventure yesterday. Do I have time to share a quick story, or should we break?
Yeah, we need to be out. You got plenty of time.
By 42.
I wanted to share this real quick because it's fresh and we'll never get around to it if I don't. But yesterday I went, and I'm not going to say where exactly I went, but I went to a medical appointment.
Right.
Yesterday. It has nothing to do with my butt or my, none of that. It was something
more
else.
Botox-ish.
No. But anyway, so I show up for this appointment. It's a new appointment for me. I've never been in this place before, and I need to go and fill out some paperwork ahead of time.
Right.
So they asked me to be there about 15 minutes before my appointment. I showed up there about 20 minutes ahead of time. I walk into the reception area, and nobody's behind the reception desk.
Huh.
But I could get into that area. It was a small little office that you come into, and there's a desk, and then the door that leads back to it was, like I said, it was a medical, so there's exam rooms back there. So I'm standing around, I'm waiting, and I wait about 5-10 minutes. Nobody's coming. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking around, and I look behind the desk there, and I see a pair of glasses there. I see a glass with a straw in it. I see a pen with some notes written down next to it. I'm like, people have been here. This is not, I didn't show up to the wrong places. They have 2 offices. I'm like, okay, I came to the right office. I checked. I made sure. I checked my time. I actually spoke to them shortly before I got there. But yeah, you're going to be here. So I'm like, I know I'm on time. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm like, all right, well, I'll sit down, wait a few minutes, whatever. I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And it's just getting closer and closer to my appointment time. And as I'm waiting, an older woman walks in to the same office. She walks up to the front desk, kind of looks over there. And I go, hey, I've been sitting here for 15 minutes. And nobody's back there. And she had a little bit of an accent. She's like, well, they told me to call ahead.
Right.
And I call, and it says they're closed. And I go, yeah, well, nobody's here. She had kind of like, I can't do a Russian accent, but it was kind of like
I had the appointment.
Well, not that bad. But anyway.
I called on the phone to be here to get teeth looked at, and that comment nothing.
All right, so.
Who are you? With your Mr. Lyle Lovett hairdo.
So anyway, she's standing there.
And on weekends, travel to capital city and watch your ladies while they make a toilet.
So she's calling, and she's like, I'm going to call again. And she
is that
calls,
okay with you, pretty boy?
While she's calling, the phone is ringing on the other side of the reception desk, and it goes to the voicemail, and it says they're closed. And so we're standing around. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I'm gonna wait around for a few more minutes, and if they're not here, I'm gonna leave.
But you saw like a cup, like
there were clearly signs. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, it looks like they left in a hurry. I'm like, because they left stuff laying out, and I'm like,
did you start CSIing the site?
Well, I said, I hope it wasn't an emergency or something like that. And she's like, I don't know. And I go, yeah. And I go, because look, and I started pointing out the evidence. The more I think about it, I'm like, well, maybe something did happen.
Did you slide the pencil into the barrel of the gun?
And the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, maybe something's going on back there.
Oh, wow. Now you're like, so you do these escape rooms, so now you're doing something.
I may need Mission Impossible.
Okay,
Casey, if you don't mind, because says that, and then she goes, well, if I could, I would go back there.
I would go back to the rooms.
And I go, well, I could go back there. So we slid a chair over.
You climbed through the window?
And I climbed up over the top of the desk. Now listen, they don't know this.
Right, yeah.
And they know who I am, and they're hearing this on the radio now. So I jump up on top of the desk. And if they have security camera footage, they'll see this.
Oh, we want to see that.
So I jump over the desk. Right. And as I'm going back into the offices, I swear to God, this is what I'm thinking, Steve. If I round the corner, I might see dead bodies.
God, dude. You don't know.
I might see, there may have been a crime committed here.
Or
I don't know. So
you might see some whoopee.
No. I wasn't expecting that. Or I'm going to be the hero because somebody's being held hostage at gunpoint.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come in and I'm going to save
Russian
the
lady,
day.
go take care of it.
So I kid you not, I started thinking about my Krav Maga training.
Oh, my God.
You got ready.
And I got ready, and I jump over, and I'm going, and I swear to God, I'm crouched down like this.
God, I hope they have surveillance video.
So that I would be able to move.
Be safe, hero.
Quickly if I needed to. And I'm like, I've got my back against the wall, and I'm turning and I'm peeking around corners. And I'm going, hello? Hello? And I'm looking around and doing this whole thing. Now, where the big mistake in my training that I didn't do is I didn't grab some type of a weapon.
Yeah.
Some type of thing that I might have
Like
needed.
the
But
straw.
I literally am looking and I'm like, okay, like the FBI would, like I would, quickly look
Yeah.
at it and just move over the other way. And I walk through.
Morning show host, identify yourself.
It's okay. I'm a broadcaster.
This is the point in the horror movie where you're like, why would he do that? Why doesn't he just leave?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that, Kathy. You're right. There's a demon.
Well,
in
you
the
want to try to
hallway.
save the hostages.
So I'm picking it, and there's like seven. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was back there. There's all kinds of rooms that I'm going through, and I'm looking.
The hell is this?
And eventually I see the office is at the end of the hallway, and I'm like, anything's going on, it's down there.
That's the room.
That's where they've got him.
There's a glow coming out from under the door.
And I'm thinking, I literally am thinking there's going to be a guy with his arm around someone with his hand over their mouth and a gun to their head or a knife to their throat. And I circle around and I look and I see that there's nobody there. And I'm like, clear, So and right
And was
about-
the Russian woman behind you?
No, she stayed
got-
in the
waiting room.
She stayed in the
Don't
waiting
worry,
room.
I have your 6.
And so what I should have done is open the door so she should come in. She could come in and
Thank you.
come and have my
Well-
6. But anyway, so I finally there was one other area I didn't go to, which was like it was like a closet. These doors, and I'm like, man, the bodies are in there. And I open it up. No, it's a giant nitrous tank.
Treasure.
I couldn't find anything.
You were back there for very long. What happened?
Nothing. I was looking.
It's a giant nitrous tank, and right then, I hear, come back, come back, come back. I hear the lady yelling for me.
Oh, no!
She's like, no. She's like, someone's coming. I'm like, I'm busted, man. She's like, because I thought they were going to be in the room when I got out there.
Right.
She's like, no, I saw them go by the door because it had a glass,
Yeah.
a glass out into the hallway, and there was another entrance to the back of the office back that way. She's
Okay.
like, I saw them go by.
Quickly.
So I come running back, and as I step back, they're making their way back into behind the desk, and I look up on the desk. And there's a giant footprint from where I stepped. And I casually walk over, Kathy, and I put my hand on. I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? And I'm wiping it off.
Clean it
while
off.
I'm talking to him. Never said a word about it.
And they saw you on the other side of the divider?
It was like I was waiting in the room the whole time where I
waiting
was
here.
supposed to be. And they were just running late. They had another thing they had to go do.
Uh-huh.
And so,
What did the Russian lady say?
I thought about telling them. I thought about saying, but I went creeping around in their office.
Yeah, nah, just leave
But
it.
it was the best intention. I thought I was
You
going
were
to be
worried.
saving the day.
It is kind of weird to not unless, did they say it was an emergency of some sort? They knew they had an appointment. Why not leave a little sign back in 5 minutes?
I don't know.
Maybe
I
it
didn't
was
ask.
lunch and they were.
No, it wasn't lunch.
No?
They had to go to the hospital or something was going on. But anyhow, you should have seen me. I was crouched down.
Oh, that's great.
I was crouched down like this. I was in the mode, and it was very surreal. But
That's amazing.
that was a bit of an adventure, yes.
So that would have been great if they walked in.
Oh
you
my
come
God.
back. You've
What was I
got
gonna do, man?
You've got the nitrous tank on your arm.
Yeah.
You've got some of the tranquilizers and yeah.
And you and the Russian lady are.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah. I didn't know how I was going to explain it
Oh,
if
man,
they
that's
came
funny.
walking in. But I had the best of
Listen,
intentions.
the place was empty. I'm gonna save them.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyhow, it was a great day. Bella Hadid is getting real about her mental health. The 25-year-old model shared a raw post Tuesday saying that her life isn't as picture perfect as it may seem.
Who's this again, President? I'm sorry.
This is Bella Hadid.
Bella Hadid.
Is that your favorite Hadid?
I vastly like.
Oh, come
last
on.
week was a Gigi week.
No way.
I have to admit it.
It's got to be.
I know Yolanda.
Yolanda Hadid.
No,
well, that's the mom, right?
No.
No?
Now you're making fun of this legitimate thing here.
Which one lives?
Where do you stand?
One lives in the area, right?
Gigi's are
I think two
local,
of them.
right?
I think the mom and the daughter live here.
Well,
Which
I have
daughter?
nothing against Yolanda.
Which daughter, Kat?
Who's
Bella?
the-
Or,
It's Gigi.
Bella or Gigi?
Who just had the baby?
Gigi.
Gigi.
So
I'm
she
gonna say
shared
it one more time. Gigi.
She shared a video of Willow Smith that resonated with her. In it, Smith talked about her insecurities and not feeling good enough. Hadid had also included a gallery of selfies of herself crying and a candid caption about her mental health.
I'm so tired of on on TikTok and Instagram videos of people filming themselves crying.
Oh, that's
you know?
not the first thing you think to do when you're
the crying reaction. Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, I like to keep that kind of person.
Yeah, and remember the mom who was busted with the
man.
kid in the front seat?
Trying to make her kid
Trying to
cry.
make the kid cry?
Yep.
There was I just watched one of somebody crying. And I was like, oh God, here we go.
Knock it off.
Another one, but wait, she was opening her own boutique. And that's why she was crying.
Oh,
She was like, this has been a long road, and it's finally here, and I'm so happy to bring this to you guys because now you can shop all of my clothes in person.
Let's check in a year when she's crying when it fails.
My clothes. I was like, what is this?
Hey, a lot of small businesses.
I know.
Statistically. All right, well, anyway.
Not mine. My boutique is going great guns.
Hadid wrote, I love you and your words. It made me feel a little less alone, and that's why I'd like to post this. So she was commenting on a video of Willow Smith. Hadid reminded followers that they are not alone and there is always light at the end of the tunnel. She said, this is pretty much my everyday, every night for a few years now. Social media is not real.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, for anyone struggling, please remember that. Sometimes all you've got to hear is that you're not alone. So from me to you, you're not alone. I love you. I see you and I hear you.
No, it's just like the Na'vi in Avatar.
I see you.
Yeah.
Self-help and mental illness chemical imbalance is not linear, and it's almost like flowing roller coaster of obstacles.
Okay, now she's losing me.
Ups and downs and size to size. Listen, people obviously, struggling with
depression.
Depression is a real thing. It's terrible. But you've got conflicting things here. Social media is not real, she writes. Anyone struggling? Listen, you can find support on social media, but you can also find exactly what is pushing you down.
And
You know
pushing
what I
your
mean?
buttons. It is a construct. And we've said before, initially, when it had a much more benevolent, at least to me, it felt that way in the early, hey,
hooking
you're
people
on
up.
this too, hey.
Yeah.
And there is a very, very destructive part of social media now. If you're going to be on it, know the difference and don't let the heavy stuff bring you down, man.
She wrote,
Right,
anyways,
Yolanda.
not sure why, but it feels harder and harder to share my truth on here. Thank you for seeing me, and thank you for listening. I see you. I love you.
So look at this picture here on Instagram. You had to hold the camera.
All right, what we're looking at is a picture of her crying. It's a close-up of her tears. She's looking away, and I mean, that looks like a posed photograph.
Yeah, it does.
I have never cried and been like, hold on, let me get my phone.
I got to update to the new OS. 1 second here. Wait a second. Why is this thing going through?
Wait, the flash is on.
How do you flip the camera? I can't flip the camera.
You have to angle it just right. Now it's got this from Sean Ward. He said, hey, I'm an avid listener for the last 14 years. I've been listening to your show around the world. I am from Folsom, Delco, and a Navy reservist who's returning home June 14th on my birthday after a 6-month deployment from a very hot place. He didn't get any more details than that. He said, I would love it if I could get a shout out from my lovely wife, Stephanie, who's been holding down the fort while I have been gone and had to deal with a multitude of issues that you can never plan for. She's done an amazing job, and I love her so much, and I can't wait to see her again. I mostly podcast, and we live in the D.C. area, so no specific time is needed. And can you also say, Ian, you suck. Drew is better than Punk.
Well, you just did.
And he says, P.S. I've been listening. I've been able to stream your show live a few times the past couple of months through the app. And he said 1 p.m. my time. And I must say, you make a great afternoon show. Just saying. Forever yours, Sean Ward. So here's a shout out. And thank you, Sean, for doing what you do. We appreciate that.
Oh, my God, yeah.
For listening to us.
That's a real job.
Here's another one that says, just sending a shout out request for my husband, Andy. For Monday, June 3rd. So, sorry I didn't get it on the date, but it says, my name is Laura. I live in State College, right next to Penn State's main campus. Started listening to you all when I was in Philly for dental school at Temple. And I've been listening for almost 15 years now, and I have an hour-long commute each way to work. And you guys keep me entertained every day and streaming on my way in and podcasting on my way home. I recently converted my husband, Andy, to be a podcast listener, too. And she says, I just wanted to send Andy a big shout out as we open our brand new dental office together in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania on June 3rd. Shout out to Nick. We're 5 minutes from Bucknell.
Yay!
And we just opened our own dental practice in 2023, built a brand new office from the ground up. I have 2 kiddos under the age of 3. Things have not been easy, but laughing together every day about something said on the show gives us something in common to talk about that doesn't involve work, teeth, or kids. Thank you guys for making my drives something I actually look forward to. So here's a shout out, and good luck to you guys in your new practice.
That's terrific.
That's from Laura Jacina. So good luck. And then
Lewisburg's a really nice town, Preston. If you're ever in that part of the state, it's really pretty. It's really quaint. It's right on the Susquehanna River, and the university's there. It's a cool place to visit in PA.
You know, the one thing, Nick, they never had particularly good teeth, though, and now they have a great opportunity.
I know you're making a joke, but you are 100% right.
Here's another one quick one from Nancy Lahovsky. She said she needs a shout out for her daughter, Carly Philbin, on Monday, June 3rd. It's her 26th birthday, and she loves your show. Been listening since high school, college years in D.C., and every day. Have a great day. Thank you. So here you go. There's a shout out for you as well. Last night, the Phils played the Brewers, and Rhys Hoskins returned for the first time. He got a standing ovation last night.
It's one of those nail biters where you're like, please do this right. And they did.
So happy. Listen, we love Rhys.
Yeah.
And we were really bummed out when he moved on because we had started a great relationship with him here on the show. And he's a nice guy. He's easy to talk to. He's a great interview. He's a great ball player. But it was cool to see this last night. Nick was at the game.
Yeah, I was at the ballpark. It was a really cool environment. There were 43,000 plus at the ballpark on a Monday in June. And not least, people were there to see Rhys for sure, but also the team is fantastic. So a lot of people just showed up. But it was just a really cool, heartwarming moment. They did a little montage video before his first at bat. He got an ovation for that. They also, Dan Baker, the Phillies PA announcer, just announced the starting lineups before the game. He got a nice round of applause for that. And then his first at bat was in the second inning, and they brought him up to the plate. And they basically stopped the game for, a minute and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was heartwarming. It was touching. And you build that much goodwill in this city, the city's going to pay you back. The city's going to love you back.
He tipped his hat.
Yeah.
It was really nice. Now, how did they react when he hit a home run?
Very interesting question and a very fantastic response from Philadelphia. I would say half boos, half cheers. people definitely cheered, and it was really cool to see.
Right,
it didn't tie the game or win the game for the Brewers.
That would have been the difference, probably.
Yeah,
and it's like you don't need to do that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so
okay, you can stop that now.
Right.
He pointed out to the Brewers bullpen when he rounded second base, which he always did when he rounded second base when he was in a Phillies uniform. And then he gave like a little nod to the crowd when he crossed the plate, which I thought was kind of cool. He also got thrown out at home. He stole second after a walk in one of the innings. So he's at second, ground ball or fly to center. Rojas picks it up, guns him down at the plate, and to see JT Realmuto tag him on the ass and then smile as he's doing it, and then Rhys kind of play back with him. It was a really cool moment and a lot of smiles on the field.
I know it's part and parcel of this occupation, this line of work, where you are firmly entrenched in a city and the people, and you're celebrated, and you've got these relationships, and then you come back, and your job is now to go against that team and those people. And I assume if I were doing it long enough, I'd acclimate and be able to do it. But from the outside, it seems like a difficult thing to do.
Hockey's the wildest sport in that regard because you'll be playing on one team and the next night you can turn around and be playing on a new one and against your old team in some rare occasions.
I was at Eric Lindros's first game back as a Ranger when he left Philadelphia, and he left Philly on not great terms. There was that whole messy divorce with Bobby Clark and Mr. Snyder, and they traded him to a division rival. And I was at that first game, and I loved Eric, and I love him still, but that reaction that the Philly crowd gave him then was not as nearly the heartwarming reaction that Rhys Hoskins got last night.
All right. Well, that was cool. I was happy to see that because we love that guy, man.
He's such a nice dude.
Yeah.
And, it's a 2-year contract for a lot of money. He'll be fine. I'm never worried about the guy as a person or ball player. I'd like to see him come back to Philly, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does in some capacity after his baseball career ends.
They gave him an honorary scholarship to the University of the Performing Arts.
Oh,
wow. He's going to go places with that.
That was really heartfelt.
Wow. All right. There is a story I wanted to share with you guys. I saw this, and this made me think of something that Caroline, my youngest, told me the other day. So this was the list of the most offensive word in the English language.
The most offensive word in the English language.
Yes. It's 4 letters, and it rhymes with runt.
Okay.
Well,
or as Casey would say, a C-U-N-T. C-U-N-T.
Next Tuesday.
Instead of see you next Tuesday.
Well, we have that holds up to our litmus test. I think we all are on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but apparently it hasn't always been so offensive. The word originated in the 25th century BC in the writings of Ptah-hotep, a high official in Egypt, where it actually started with the letter K, and it apparently referred to women as a term of respect. So it is.
So the C word was actually a term of respect.
Yes.
Well,
Now-
let's see if we can make that become a term of respect again.
Well, let me tell you, the reason I brought this up is because Caroline told me the other day and actually said the word to me
Oh, no.
that apparently there is a movement to try and change the meaning of the word to where it means something good.
Oh, I don't know. Can they ever do
I
that?
know. And I'm like, good
What
luck
a
with that.
lovely bouquet of C words.
It's like fetch.
Yeah.
It's like trying to use that.
Okay.
Trying to use the C-U-N, the word to that. And Caroline started using it in the context that way. And I'm like, yeah, good luck with that.
Let me ask you.
No way. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to see if this is just my kid and their group, or have you heard this as well?
Reclaiming the word.
I would like confirmation if anybody else has heard of this movement. Is this taking place? Is it on social media? I don't know. 215-263-WMR. You can text in and let us know if you've heard.
Sorry, Preston, because yes, and to that point, I got you. My question would be, has a word of similar impact ever been reclaimed?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Which one?
I'm even cautious saying this, the N-word.
Right.
Yeah, but for white people, it's still not.
I'm well aware,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's been a process by which many people have tried to reclaim it and using it in language and using it in everyday speak and then using it in song.
My question would have been with success.
Well, I think that there has been success there. Again, Casey's 100% right. We can't say it, but I think that I think the meaning of that word has changed over time, in part because of that effort.
Well,
But
so much so that,
I'm not sure that's all encompassing enough, to be considered reclaimed.
But like the C word in England is not as offensive,
It's a kind of
That's
toffee.
Right. Yeah.
No, it's not a kind of toffee. But it is used as a more common
Yes. Watch the boys.
curse.
Yeah.
And yes.
Ricky Gervais uses it all the time to great comedic effect. It doesn't, I think here, when you use it here in the United States, you've dropped a nuclear bomb.
Yes, you have.
In England, it is simply like, you mother effer.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you want to wish somebody like a happy holidays, if you want to say like, hey, Merry Christmas, C word.
Or perhaps you have an appointment with them next Tuesday.
Yes.
Dude, one of my favorite bits with that word, and I've forgotten the comedian's name, he's Australian. And you guys know who he is, but he drops the C word all the time.
Oh, Jim.
Is it Jimmy Carr?
Jeffries?
No. Oh, Jim.
What's his name?
I'm not sure, but he shares the story of where he's at a barbecue with some friends, and he tells this guy he's a comedian. He's not familiar with him. He's like, well, I'm kind of known for saying boom, and he drops it. And it's just hilarious how he's describing to this guy who doesn't know his style that I'm famous for using that word all the time.
Right.
It is a scream.
It's his get it done.
Let's go to some calls because they are coming in. I want to go to Scott. Hey, Scott, good morning.
Yee doggy.
Yeah.
Doggy.
All right. Scott, have you heard similar?
100%. My daughter's going to be her junior year in college. Even at Christmas time, she came home and she made mention that, oh, we're taking that word back. We're like, there was never a place to take it back.
What?
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
it was never. There was never a time when it was. Well, Preston just said that there was a time when it was actually a
term of respect.
A term of respect.
Which she didn't get into that, but they'll be like getting dressed to go out, and they'll be like, "You look so C," and I'm like, "You don't say that to anyone else."
This is exactly what I was told, Scott. This is exactly how it was phrased to me.
Wow. So, Scott, do you ever foresee a time in which this word will be readopted as a compliment?
I think that would be a tough one.
That's a tall order.
I think it's a tall order.
Thanks, Scott.
Well, us older people are like,
You know
we
what?
don't know about that.
If you take a word, for example, sucks. When
Yes.
years ago, I remember in elementary school when I first heard someone say that sucks. I'm like, ooh.
Well, because it was sucks
Yeah,
D.
right.
Right. And then the D was
now
dropped.
it's passively said, and
Yep.
I'm not sure I like this because that word is reserved for just a very small amount of people, and I don't know what I would use to replace it.
It's used to cut deep.
Yeah.
And if you can't cut deep anymore, you know what I mean? You need to have that one taboo Like you said, nuclear bomb.
That's a nuclear bomb.
I'm pulling
That's
it.
it. Here we go.
Have you ever called someone that? I mean, besides when
I
Casey
have.
called me that.
Yeah.
I have.
I didn't call you that.
Whatever,
I
it's
spelled
fine.
it. I
Yeah.
spelled
Everyone's
it.
always like, "Oh, Kathy doesn't like Casey." Well, you just call me the C word.
I have
so.
used the word in bits, but I have never. I don't think I've ever called
someone,
in a mother effer.
Yeah,
or,
sure.
Or F
But-
you.
but
I've never.
different.
I don't think I've ever employed that word with any sense of vitriol behind. Like
I did one time.
You
I
did?
called, I called a woman that. Oh, she was trying to cut in front of me at a in a drive-through.
And you were hungry.
And
you were so hungry.
I'm just like, she was being rude about it, and I'm like, I'm doing it.
Uh-huh.
And you
Yeah.
like rolled down your window and said it?
Yeah, I go F you, C. F-U-C.
Yay!
See you next Tuesday.
How did that go over? Did she
She goes,
reply?
oh, that's nice, or something like that. And
Thank you. We're trying to make it a compliment now.
I think she had called me an a-hole first, and I'm like, you started it.
Yeah.
Well, I just had a bigger and better one
Honestly, so we're having Kevin Costner in the Untouchables way. You go knife to. You went knife.
I took a gun to a
nuclear
knife
warhead.
fight.
Yeah.
I took a gun to a knife fight. Let me go to Brittany. Hi, Brittany. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, Brittany. So you're familiar with this?
Yeah, so I haven't heard it in like everyday life, but it is all over social media.
So see if it comes up at the ladies' book club meeting next Tuesday when you see everyone.
I am way too old to ever use those words, but people are using pictures of like Miley Cyrus or Beyonce or Taylor Swift and saying that they are being see you next Tuesday with a Y.
So I will see you next Tuesday with a Y. Okay,
and meaning that in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
All right, thanks, Brittany.
I want to bear witness to this. A word that has that much import, to be able to reverse the meaning, socially.
Yeah, a lot of it is being propelled by the LGBTQ community, especially in the queer community, and also from RuPaul. And so they're using that as a compliment to.
It's still a tall order.
It's a tall order for you, but it's not a tall order for them. Yeah, I mean, and that's
but to get overall acceptance,
yeah, but that's
gotta be hard.
Overall acceptance is what we strive for.
So in certain communities, like Nick, referencing the N-word, in certain parts of the community, yes, it will fly. Not with us, it can't.
No, but it's funny, like when you see it written and either of those words written, because to me, both of those words are jarring, and I could never write them. I can't. I have a hard time saying. I literally have a hard time saying the N-word in quotes.
Yeah. Sure.
So, so to see it written as a compliment, or the word MY before that word, you're like, okay, I shudder at it, but it's not my community. So if it's in their community and they're okay with it, go for it.
Now, this is not nearly as bad. Not nearly as bad. But when I was in, this was like middle school or something like that. I was in junior high. We used to say things were bitch.
Bitch.
Yeah. You remember that?
Or
like,
bitch in.
Cool? Like, that is so bitch. Bitchin' is where that came from. It's a total Valley Girl thing.
Right.
But that is, dude, that is bitch.
So I think
I used to like saying that. I used to love saying that.
That's classic vernacular, and it's funny though. The nuclear C word. Again, I'll be amazed if they can get any traction on it. But you're holding up the one metric that I think is the key. Yeah. Can you get, let's say, 75% of society to sign on? I don't think so.
Yeah, but you mentioned the word bitch. It is, I mean, there are positive and negative connotations with that word.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, somebody called this really good friend of mine a dumb bitch one time, and they weren't being nice about it. But you could
dumb bitch.
You could also,
but I laughed at her during that. If it had been the C word, I don't think I would have laughed.
And just to remind, when we're flinging this word around a lot recently, it's because of this incident that happened to Kathy, which is hilarious.
I got an email from somebody.
What's hilarious is that you just busted out laughing.
I did, but it was just the whole, the entire incident surrounding it, and her hair blowing in the wind, and it was just like
almost like very cinematic moment of this woman yelling, "You dumb bitch" to Kathy.
I didn't think about the hair blowing.
Yeah.
You dumb bitch.
It's almost like a Fabio moment.
Oh my God! Hang on, I want to go to Dawn, who is an English teacher. Hi, Dawn. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, you guys.
Hey, what's up, Dawn?
I'm scared to use the C word. It was always like the worst word in the world when I was growing up, and I'm still scared of it, right?
Yeah.
But I have definitely noticed young women from 9th grade through college and girls who you would think of as, quote unquote nice girls using it all over the place. They've even used it in some of their assignments, writing assignments.
So what happens when you as a teacher see that pop up in an assignment? Do you have to just roll and say, okay, I'm understanding contextually what they're going for here? Or do you have to come down on them?
It's my choice. I'm lucky. I have great administration, and they know that this is my policy.
All right.
I tell my students, you can use any word you want around me when it's to me alone. You can't use it in a public forum, like in class. So, you know what I mean? Around the other students. But if you're saying something to me through your writing, you can use any word you want. And the only time I've ever heard seen the C word used is from girls.
By the way, and you raise a good point about context and the environment that you're in. There are words that are perfectly acceptable that we could say on air that you wouldn't say in a scenario. You wouldn't say at a wake, Right. There's a right or a more applicable time for a lot of these things. But yes, the C word to me is, again, nuclear level destruction.
Hey, Dawn, I have a question. Like, when you see it in writing, what is your initial reaction?
I gasped.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then have you gotten used to it?
Thing is, the student actually, when it first happened, the student showed me while she was in class, sitting with other students. So my reaction was publicly seen. And they
Sure.
And the other girl, they were kind of collaborating on work, and she was kind of showing her friends what she had written. And I gasped.
Was the other aspect is that it was in a review for You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown?
It was in a review as me as a teacher. No.
Right.
What grade do you teach, by the way, Dawn?
I teach mostly 9th and 10th grade.
All right. Okay. So that'd be the zone, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I can understand. I can understand to take the ultimate pejorative and try to pull it back, because a lot of times I think it's funny though, there was a point where you would only hear guys utter this.
Right.
And I think, and then it became a girl word as well.
Hey.
And now I think is to remove the power from it.
Dawn, has there been a staff discussion about this at all?
Not official, maybe with my lunch friends.
Okay. Is there a meeting scheduled for next Tuesday?
Yeah, maybe. My department's pretty loose, so I can talk about it but there's one man in the department. Yeah, I would honestly feel odd, bringing it up.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Really.
Thank you, Dawn.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Appreciate it. We'll see you. Let me go to Tanya's on hold. Hi, Tanya, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, what's up, Tanya?
Sorry to bother you at work, but I just wanted to call in and say that, definitely that word is used as a term of endearment in countries like New Zealand and Australia, but here in America, and I think England and Ireland as well, it is definitely a bad word. And I personally, like you guys, I just feel awful using it.
Yeah.
My daughter, who is 16, has no problem whatsoever.
Using it in what context? As a term of endearment, like some people we're finding out are now? Wow.
Yeah, with her friends group and everything.
I can't wait till you see that pop up in a eulogy.
Yeah.
It's like Curb Your Enthusiasm, Nick, with the and misspelled. So you're saying in New Zealand, it's actually used as a sort of fraternal.
Among a group of basically girlfriends, they'll call each other. I remember when I was in high school, sometimes there was the B word that was thrown around as, your buddy. And that's how they're using it these days.
Hey, bitches.
Yeah. Hey, C words.
I mean, not to sound like a completely old person, but, I'm late 40s at this point in my life. And if you think about how people, especially teenagers, communicate most of the time, it's on the phone and it's via social media, right? So if you see that the words like CUNT are becoming acceptable in other social media circles, especially in LGBTQ and that type of community, or even overseas, you might think that it's fun and funny and then inject it into a conversation in a positive way. So I can see how, language is evolving faster now than it ever has before because of the way that we communicate and because you're communicating with people instantly on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, no, that's true. It will absolutely form and change more quickly than
it's
ever
hard
before.
to keep up with.
Bring it up during the next bingo party.
I will go to Allison. Hi, Allison. Good morning. Hi, Allison. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hey, Allison. What's up?
Hey, just thought you look so nice.
Just that you look so nice.
I just found this out. We spent Memorial Day weekend with my friends from North Nowheresville, New Jersey, and I found out that my best friend's 16-year-old daughter is using this word affectionately with all of her friends.
Wow.
And it was mind-blowing.
Yeah, mind-blowing is that's how I would have taken it. Absolutely. I could completely understand your feeling on it. Again, I'm going to just sit back and see if they can pull this one off.
How did it start, Allison? Do you know, where it began within that social group?
In her social media, I don't know, all the social platforms she's on. Somehow, I think through all of the social media and all of the TikToking and YouTubing and everything, they picked it up and just adopted it affectionately. And we had to inform her. I was like, that is reserved for very special circumstances, and I have to give my husband approval to use that.
Why do I think for some reason it all originated with the Property Brothers?
Those guys?
Yeah.
I don't think so. All right. Thank you, Allison. Appreciate it. I will go next to Ron. Hi, Ron. Good morning, sir.
Gadzooks, everybody.
Gadzooks, buddy. What's up?
First and foremost, what's up, YouTube crew? It's Thrasher Bull.
Oh,
okay.
Excellent.
There you go.
Which, by the way, YouTube community, you'll be able to watch when Kevin Costner gets here. We're going to have our YouTube streaming. You'll be able to see him here in our studio. Anyway, go ahead, Ron. What do you want to comment on?
So I'm part of the LGBTQ community, and we just had Pride on Sunday. So that word has been used all day on Sunday. As a matter of fact, there's a sentence saying, if someone's dressed nice and they look nice, they're serving C.
Yeah.
Okay.
Serving C.
Serving C.
And that's kind of what I was told.
See, I would get in line for that.
Yeah,
meal.
we're serving C over here.
My bib on and everything.
Yeah.
Or they would be like I'm trying the best way I can. Yes, queen, you serve that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the whole RuPaul. Listen again. Yeah. Do you think this can permeate general society? And because that word is heavy.
I think it to some extent, Steve, not to where it won't be obscene under the eyes of the law, like the FCC and things like that.
You won't see it in a Hallmark card.
It would take several. Thank you, Ron.
Where's
Appreciate
your
it, bud.
C card section?
It can soften over time. Like, we can say someone's a dick.
Yeah.
That's what?
Yeah.
No, my daughter called my son a dick yesterday.
Or how about a varmint?
Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
it's so funny for us on this radio station, on this show right now. You can call somebody a dick, but you can't use it in another context. And it's context always matters, and also the community that you're speaking to always matters. So yes, for us to use the C word, it will not be accepted by most circles, but other circles it is accepted.
Yeah.
So I did some in-depth Google searching to find out, because when something's trending, somebody writes about it. And the first story I found says how I reclaimed the C word by becoming one, and that was in 2001. And then the C word is everywhere right now, but not in a bad way. That was in 2023. Time to reclaim, 2022. Then why I think it's important to reclaim it from 2016 back to reclaiming the C word again in 2009. So maybe
they've been trying for a while.
Around
Right.
for a while.
Right.
But maybe it's finally hitting.
Maybe it's catching traction with more, like Nick was saying, the influence of social media.
Is it possible that it starts back to that first Medea film?
Maybe. Anything's possible at this point. So, wow. Okay.
I'm blown away by this.
I needed confirmation. I believed Caroline, but I was also like, hang on a second.
Are you going
That
to
sounds
employ
pretty
it
interesting.
when you talk to her?
No.
Yeah.
Well, for fun, yeah, probably.
How about fetch?
Just to kind of be goofy, I might do
Sure,
it. But
sure,
for
wow.
now, I guess I have to be open to hearing that out of the mouth of my 17-year-old.
Well, think about like when we were kids, when you're talking about the word bitch and using it in the context that you really liked, Preston, like all it really takes is one cool person to make something like that sound cool.
Well, yeah.
You know, and then once it does, everybody's like, oh, well, if Preston said that it's cool, then I'm gonna go along with that.
A texter was pointing out the word dope, which is not necessarily offensive per se, but that meaning totally changed in the like early 1990s. I mean, dope meant either drugs or it meant stupid.
An
idiot.
Yeah,
And
you're
then,
dope.
then it was turned around to mean really cool.
Yeah, not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
Right.
Good.
Yes.
Fonzie's original was the C word.
No way. I
But
didn't know
that tested poorly with audience.
Middle America certainly had an issue with it.
Wow.
See, I want him to make a T-shirt with the count from Sesame Street wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And underneath it just says, I put the count in country because I think people...
All right.
Right? Because people... Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I would buy
like
that
it.
shirt.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, anyhow, I could go to more calls. We got all of our phone lines on hold. I appreciate those of you who've called in. We didn't get a chance to get to you.
A lot of people have a lot of C word stories.
We do, but we need to try to stay on time because Mr. Kevin Costner is going to be here in like the next 25 minutes or so. So we'll break, come back, have a quick conversation, break after that, and then he should be here.
Look at us operating so efficiently this morning.
We are trying.
Yeah.
We're doing our best. So we'll come back in just a moment or two, so hang out with us, you see. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve.
This is.
The light isn't right. Wait 1 second.
I need another one. Hold on.
Can you come take this for me, please?
Yeah, that's not what I'm thinking about when I'm crying.
Yeah.
Seriously.
She keeps opening the wrong app that looks like the app for the
No,
phone.
that's not the Instagram. No, that's
If you thought that Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga looked like a couple in love at the 2019 Oscars, it's because they planned it that way. I know that she has already said that, but he is finally saying something. He was talking to the Hollywood Reporter on Wednesday, and he had said that he wanted the performance to mimic the scene in the movie in order to help him manage his own fears about singing live. So I get it. Yeah,
absolutely.
He's playing a role.
And by the way,
he is in front of a bunch of musicians. Because it was, I'm sorry, it was at the Oscars.
At the Oscars, it was in front of the world, basically.
Yeah,
he's singing this song. They obviously have a very strong friendship.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was. So it's friends, lovingly.
And
you know,
they're performers.
Yes, they're liars.
They know they're playing a role. They're having fun with it.
They're paid liars.
So Cooper added, he said he shared just from a personal standpoint, it reduces the anxiety level.
Well, listen, we're very good friends with Bradley Cooper.
We are.
And we know the way he is.
Incredibly
And we
close.
know how nervous he gets in situations like this. So if you knew him the way we knew him.
Steve, I sometimes will just place my hand on his knee.
Yeah.
And just
it's okay.
A little touch.
Yeah.
A little human touch.
Makes a difference.
Calms him down a bit.
Yeah. I can't believe you guys haven't brought up the fact that, like, Steve and I look at each other like that when we sing the Safe Light song.
Absolutely.
We totally get
It's
that.
so beautiful.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Every single time.
I just thought I'd let you guys have that. I didn't want to bring it out into the open.
I always say, find someone in your life who looks at me the way Casey looks at me during the Safe Light song.
Yeah.
Can we get that right now? Can you guys do that?
Casey's so emotional.
I just love him so much.
Let's do it. We can do it. Ready?
You're at the microphone for a
All right,
dad.
turn away and then turn and look at each
Okay.
other. All right.
Hang
Just
on.
give us a
I
countdown.
got to get into character.
All right, hold it,
Okay.
everybody. 3, 2, 1.
Safe light repair, safe light replace.
Oh.
God.
A lovely
Wow.
kiss was
That
blown.
was-
If we could get it, I don't know if it's possible to get a split screen on that or not.
And see, there's no
play that
real love there. That's all acting.
No.
They lie.
Well, you know what? You can't sing those words without being moved. They're not only repaired, but replaced.
Yes. As if the repair wasn't enough.
You fixed me, and
Yeah.
then you made me all new again.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And they'll
I'll
come-
repair
yeah.
you. I will
I
never
will come
replace
to where
you.
you are
Yeah.
if you're at your daughter's dance recital.
That's right.
Bradley Cooper added that they kind of fall in love in that scene in the film. It's that explosive moment that happens to them on a stage in front of thousands of people. And it would have been so weird if we were both on stools facing the audience. So that's why they did it that way.
This is actually the first time that they rehearsed. They sang the Chicken Pot Pie song, Preston.
Wait, do you want to do Safe Flight Repair like that now? We're looking at the video where they're kind of heads leaning against each other. Oh, no. Oh, yes, we're going to get this now.
Well, you got to come behind because you got to come behind me because you're taller.
Like this?
Yeah.
We are getting this on camera, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
where's the camera at?
Right
here. Yeah. Can you count us off, Preston?
3, 2, 1.
Safe light repair, safe light replace.
Dear God in heaven.
Wow.
How was that? Was that good? Thank you.
I was convinced.
Bravo!
Thank you. Can I just? We are involved with other people.
Yes.
We're just, I have the deepest respect for Diane, and I know Casey.
And I,
loves
Claire.
her, yeah.
And your cats.
And my cat.
More on the creepy side for me.
You don't know what that song means to us.
I know, I guess.
Sounds a little jealous, does she not?
I'm getting that. We have
I think
to look.
you guys. I don't think you were harmonizing though. I think you were in unison on that.
Our hearts were harmonized.
Our hearts were harmonized. So the monetary donations for Camp Out for Hunger continued until the day before Thanksgiving, and the final tally of money that you donated at Acme Markets is $1,454,710.
Just amazing.
And that added to our final monetary donation, with everything added in, for Camp Out for Hunger this year was $1,802,000 to help feed people in this area.
Oh my God! Another banner year.
$1.8 million, and you put that on over 2.3 million pounds of food.
I mean, again, another situation where you figured, how are they? How are we going to get to that point? How are we going to top the miracle that was last year? And look what people just step up. They're amazing.
Yep. It's pretty incredible. So thank you. Before we get into our concert announcement and music news, Nick, what were you laughing so hard at right before that started? Or do we even want to know?
You want to know.
Okay.
I just want to take a seat, Preston, and I got my little chair here.
Oh,
and I didn't do it again. Oh, there we go. And somehow, Casey found a way to rig it so that it just slowly descends.
I took video. I took video.
Okay.
You did?
How'd you do this?
All right, so stand up and you'll see.
Because it'll go back up.
Yeah. So there's a handle that will allow you to lower the seat, and I assume he taped it, right?
He tied it.
I tied it with a bandana.
That took work. I'm impressed.
So it just sinks down slowly.
I was just so
kinda
glad.
cool.
I didn't know how I was going to react, and I was just so grateful that it didn't
slam down
and have you fall.
You got to be careful.
All I heard was everybody in on this but me?
You had your headphones on. I think.
saw Casey come over here and tie it, and I go, "Are you trying to kill him?" And he goes, "No, but his chair will sink when he sits in it."
Where'd you get that idea?
I don't even know.
It came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. I saw the bandana sitting there.
Okay.
And Nick wasn't there. I was like, I wonder if I could. I mean, it was like lightning fast how the synapses were firing.
Okay. Not as permanent, but definitely some pain involved. Florence Pugh, the actress, recently pierced her nose, but confessed that she fainted in the process.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Really?
She captioned an Instagram photo that says, "When you want to be a cool grown-up and get a cool new piercing and you instantly fail, go green and then faint."
All right, so Kathy, did you faint when you got your not your ears pierced, but like you got your belly button pierced?
Nah, I didn't.
She had a nipple pierced.
I didn't.
I
faint.
didn't want to bring that up.
What's that?
I didn't want to bring that
How
up.
can you not bring that up? You're obligated to bring that up. Are you kidding me?
Case, my problem is looking at it. If I see it happen, I'm out like a light.
Okay, so Florence went with the septum, the middle part.
Okay.
I dig. I like a nose piercing, like the
off to the side.
Yeah, the nostril.
Yeah.
What do they call it? That's usually a stud, is it not? Yeah. Stud.
Yeah, the septum thing, sometimes it looks like you got boogers hanging out of your nose.
It's just gross.
I don't like that. Yeah, the booger thing is real.
I do like the stud.
Yeah.
I think that can be cute.
It's good if you're a bull. I think it works quite nicely.
My girlfriend has one.
She has a septum piercing?
Yeah.
She does?
I didn't know that.
I never even noticed.
Yep, she has it. She doesn't wear it all the time, and she removed it for several years, and then put it back in recently, and it never closed, which she was surprised by. I was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but looks good on her.
What does she wear? Is it a hoop?
Like a little hoop. Yeah,
There it is.
A little hoop.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that I don't like that. I just prefer the stud. But so speaking of bull, Steve, when I was a kid, we had the shower curtain rings.
Yes.
I would take those off the shower curtain and put them in my nose like I was a bull.
Startling revelation on the Preston Steve Show this morning.
Okay.
Casey Boy, producer, admitted he used shower rings to look like a bull. We go down to Jimmy Lukaszewski outside of One Bala Plaza. Jim, what's going on out there? Crowd has already started to form, Tom. People want to get the exclusive on the interview.
Okay.
Can I go down for an interview?
All right, so let me ask you this: Would you look in the mirror and make noises?
Well, I don't know about the noises, but everything I did, dude.
Did you make a face?
I spent so much time in front of the bathroom mirror as a child. I used to pierce my own ears. I would I spent a lot of time making faces and
Wow.
I know.
But I'm sure,
You guys make fun of me.
Yeah.
And then he would go back to college.
I was just curious what level you took it to. Would you actually stomp on the ground?
No.
Do anything
That'd
like
be
that?
stupid, Preston.
Yeah, come on,
He
man.
was just making faces in the mirror.
It's just silly. By the way, to make Casey feel better, if you've ever taken a shower ring and pretended to be a bull, text in and let us know.
Please
about
let
it.
us know.
And if you have one now and you could do a picture, we'd love to see it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Without a doubt, I am not the only one to ever do that.
No, listen, I'm sure.
Without a
I've
doubt.
done it, for Christ's sake.
Somewhere in America
Yeah.
has done it.
There's probably a commune of people who do nothing but that.
Here's a supportive one.
Is that a BR commune? Yeah, that's a bull ring
Here,
commune.
this says, I used to pretend I was the bull in the Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And this guy, he and his cousin used to put helmets on and use pen tablecloths to charge at each other like bulls. But he
One
didn't
was a
think,
bull and one was the matador.
Yeah.
He says, didn't think of the shower curtain ring, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The accessory you never knew you needed.
I know this is like Hollywood celebrity news, but why did they put the ring in the bull's nose? What was that all about?
You know, I think that's how they would actually lead the bull.
Yeah, I think they could
Oh!
connect. They could connect a lead to it.
Okay.
And
That makes perfect
or they could essentially leash them up somewhere, and they're not going to go anywhere.
And isn't the fact that most bulls are goth, sort of? They're
Yeah, I
the
think so.
cages and stuff.
Yeah, they do the ear stuff
body
too.
mod.
Yeah. All right, let me see. Nick, anybody texting in? One person said they've done the shower curtain ring in the nose thing, but I don't know if they were pretending to be a bull or not.
No,
It
it could have
does
been something
Well,
entirely
I
different.
don't necessarily. I wasn't. You guys said I was pretending to be a bull.
you said
No, you did.
Well, I got the idea from the bull, right? Like
I got the idea
never
from
made,
the bull.
I got the idea. I didn't.
Why don't you pretend that you're me?
Let the court record show that Preston, you asked if I made noises like a bull, and I did not.
I thought that was
I
after
would like
you
to have audio
intimated.
from what we spoke about earlier, because you said I
Yeah.
would look in the mirror
Yeah.
and pretend to be a bull.
All right, let's check it. We
we
have
have
a
to-
way of finding
We
out.
have to check the tape. You
We
may
do.
be right. But
Well, what did you do?
I put a shower ring on my nose like an idiot.
For what reason?
I don't
To look like a bull.
To look like a bull, I guess.
That's what
I don't know.
That's what I think he said.
All right.
But we could be wrong.
But I
Maybe
didn't
we just
pretend to
assumed.
be a bull. There's a difference. There's a difference between trying to look like a bull and
pretending to be a bull.
Yes.
Pretending means you would adopt a lifestyle.
And I would not do that.
Right.
Because, bulls are ornery creatures, man.
I don't like the way they live.
They're ornery creatures, man.
Yeah, that was my Lebowski right there.
That's what
I thought you were doing like you almost
Austin
sounded like
Powers.
Austin Powers.
No, that was more Lebowski than anything
They're
else.
ornery creatures, man.
I'm a bull, baby.
Kathy, I'm trying to reel this back.
You are?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Started it.
Jesus.
Holy moly.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to move on to another story.
Okay.
We'll wait and find out that we'll find the tape.
Don't
here.
worry, we'll go back to this.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it may run through the entire show this morning. We have a clip of you from earlier
Okay,
on the show,
all right.
so we'll see. Let's see what this is. This was Casey. Let's see if he says he would pretend to be a bull or not. Here we go.
So speaking of bull, Steve, when I was a kid, we had the shower curtain rings.
Yes.
I would take those off the shower curtain and put them in my nose like I was a bull.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Like I was a bull. I didn't
For the
say I
very first time.
I think there's a difference between pretending to be a bull and
Adopting the lifestyle.
I didn't go.
One could say that there's a point at which they sort of Venn diagram a little bit.
So if you put on clown makeup,
Right.
like a full clown makeup, the wig and everything,
And I didn't do the voice and all that stuff.
you're not pretending to be
I'm
a
just
clown. at that
dressed like
point.
a clown.
Okay, so you were
Yeah.
dressed like a bull.
Yeah.
You were just dressed like a bull.
That's it.
Where are you going out looking like a bull? Where are you going to tonight looking like a bull?
Casey, you've been vindicated. Congratulations. Amber has an interesting chat for a few minutes here and then break, and then we'll get Mr. Costner in and have the interview. But I could not let this day go by without acknowledging this. June 4th is National Cheese Day.
National Cheese
And
Day.
I know we normally talk food at the end of the week, but today's National Cheese Day.
Did you see that there was a cheese rolling event in the city?
In the city?
Yes.
No.
They did a cheese rolling event right here in Philadelphia.
Like the one they do in England?
Wheels of cheese down a couple of blocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, you don't like it?
Well, you can't steal that from the actual event in England. Maybe down the Art Museum steps, that could be kind of fun.
I know. Yeah. Well, it seemed to draw a fair amount of attention. But I'm a big fan of the cheese rolling event.
I'd have to see it for myself. An American one, an American girl won that event this year, her second year in a row.
In the cheese rolling?
In the cheese rolling.
Yeah.
In England, she goes to Ohio State University. I saw a little feature on it. There was a full documentary I saw. Rainn Wilson was the guy behind it. It was called like World Champions or something like that. And they did a comprehensive hour-long program on that event. It's wild, man. I mean, you could die doing that thing.
So as they're rolling the cheese down the hill, they are running down this hill.
They're just trying to be the first person to cross the line. Nobody ever catches the cheese. It goes way too fast. But if you cross the finish line first, you run down this insanely steep, like think of a double black diamond run.
At a full running clip.
Well, and they're doing cartwheels and they're breaking
They're
bones.
falling, yeah.
It's crazy.
When you said an American one, I thought you meant an American cheese one.
So did Nick, so did I at first.
Okay, all right.
Has anybody died doing that? Because I just watched I'm like, how are these people not breaking their necks?
Nobody's died doing it. The gal there was in the documentary that I watched. The gal broke her clavicle, like you did, Nick, the one time.
Oh
yeah. And so they have horrific injuries.
Yeah.
And there's a woman who goes at the beginning of it. She says. She's talking to the crowd. She's like, if there are any children here, get them out of the way because they could be killed. Because the cheese weighs like 10, 15 pounds or something like that. It could come down and take somebody's head off. It's going so fast.
So the video is running up on the screen here, President.
Of what?
Of the Philadelphia cheese event, or was. And it's not as big and well attended as the original one, but it's still cool.
That's something I wouldn't mind. That's something goofy I wouldn't mind seeing. You know.
Do you know the one that used to blow my mind was the one that I think it was it one of the pythons would participate in, and it's the pianos rolling down the hill.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Well, it's National Cheese Day, and if you would like to know a little bit about cheese.
All right, yes.
It is produced from the pressed curds of milk, and the milk can come from cows, buffalo, goats, or sheep.
Do you have a preference?
Well, that's a good question.
Let's get inside.
It depends on the
This is
mood.
going to get painful.
It depends on the mood and what you're using it for. To just snack on cheese and eat pieces of cheese, either like a nice brie or a Gouda, like Prima Donna, which is probably our favorite cheese that we go to.
What about
also like a
Jack?
nice blue? Pepper Jack is kind of pedestrian to me.
Well, my
Now,
sensibilities run more pedestrian. I think like a pepper jack. Yeah.
on a sandwich to give it a little pow, little pizzazz, maybe some pepper jack or something like that. An extra sharp, preferably like Vermont cheddar.
Yeah.
Is
You
pretty
won't just
yummy.
take a can of Cheese Whiz and empty it into your mouth?
Not
Okay.
in years.
All right.
But I mean, but I do like a great Cooper Sharp. You know, it's got a little more zing to it than your regular American
The
cheese.
whole notion of like a cheese platter was an aberration to me for years. And then I don't know where the switch flipped, but it became like, oh my God.
When I was a kid,
Sweet mystery of life.
I used to ask for cheese for Christmas.
Really?
Yes.
That's really funny.
Yep. I wanted the Pepperidge Farm boxes that came with all those different cheeses.
Son, don't you want a football helmet or something? No, I'd like a Gouda.
Yeah, I'd like cheese. I loved getting those.
God.
Those were my favorite things to get, and I loved
Would you get like
Vardy cheese and
with like a Hickory Farms?
That's what I said.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah.
One of those boxes. You know, that has all the variety in it.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Carter is your son.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
He's a chip off the old block.
Preston, I was playing gay bingo once and for the AIDS Foundation, and I won a basket of cheese.
Oh.
It was like a Cabot basket of cheese, and literally everybody wanted to be my best friend.
Right.
They had all these cool prizes, but this
Let
basket
me
of
tell you,
cheese.
Cabot puts together a hell of a basket.
Yep.
I made my world famous cheese dip last night.
I saw it on the news.
I've been calling it my world famous, but it is good, man. But it does have pedestrian cheeses in it and loose sausage, but it is good, man.
The Loose Sausage Club.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was looking because I'm like, well, what? Because there are some cheeses that I don't like. But
That's a shocker.
Well, no. Listen. Well, I don't like brie. I think brie is disgusting. So I was like,
snooty?
I wonder what milk that comes from. But I'm looking at everything and buffalo, cow, goat, sheep. Like
Ferrets.
I love all cheese from all of the animals.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's
Yeah.
not.
It's funny
it
that-
wasn't just one animal, that produces the cheese that I don't like.
You're a consistency person. The food that you don't like tends to have irregular consistency, right? Right? Texture? Like the cheese
but
would-
brie is not the texture. Brie is the taste.
Press, have you ever made your own cheese? I only asking because
No.
I just saw last week, this guy showed us how to make on Instagram mozzarella cheese. It's two things. It's what's so funny?
I'm just thinking about this. It's what you will watch on Instagram, a
Yeah.
dude showing you
It's
how
true.
to make mozzarella cheese.
It's true.
It's two ingredients though.
I know.
I'm like, it makes this. But
No.
you do need cheese.
I would
cloth.
watch a guy making cheese like that. That's
Was
what
it
we
milk
become.
and salt
milk and vinegar.
and vinegar. That's it. Yeah, because it has to curd.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like a cheesecloth seems like so much damn work.
Right? Like once I read something and it says, all right, and then put it in a cheesecloth, I'm like, well, I'm out.
My line of thinking is if I can walk into an Acme and there's an entire aisle of it, do I really
mozzarella.
need to be breaking out my Instagram account to learn how to make it myself? No.
Yeah.
And by the way, there are a number, I think, of pitfalls inherent in making cheese where if you don't make it properly, you could have a
You might make
reaction.
yourself sick or something.
Yes.
I don't know. But the idea, and yes, there are some things that are laborious to create and make, but if you make them your own way, you have your own little spin on it, you can make something really magical.
You know,
and share it with
Michelangelo
people.
famously said after painting the Sistine Chapel, I should have gotten into cheese.
Cheese.
Cheese. Much
Should've made
easier.
cheese.
Yeah.
Jeez. I got out.
So,
Didn't
yes.
we lock you in a dumpster?
I got out.
Temperature and aging affect the flavor and texture of the cheese, as well as spices and other seasonings added during the process. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Cheese Man. What do you most often pair your cheese with?
That is a really good question. So I'll try to have. Well, it depends on what it is. So, like things like brie is nice to have some type of a sweet jam or something along those lines. So, like a fig jam is always good.
What about circus peanuts?
Not circus peanuts. Or some nuts can go with that. Grapes are wonderful to go with cheese. Love having cheese and grapes together.
Did you have any of that Rush Creek Reserve cheese that I got from Wisconsin a couple
that you
Christmases
heat
in
up?
a row? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a brie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can't believe it's not brie.
Yeah, but
was really good.
they only sell so many wheels of this a year.
Yeah, it's like very
good stuff.
coveted.
Yeah.
It's hard to get your hands on it.
We did. Well, we're in cheese territory.
Yeah.
You did a story on. I think it is the most sought after cheese. Do you remember this story?
No.
And the price associated with it was mind boggling.
I believe that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not really sure.
Oh, when you get to, all right, so you're eating pasta, the Parmesan. Do you consider that like a cheese, even though it's
Parmesan?
Yeah, the Parmesan
cheese.
grated cheese.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, most
I
definitely.
go crazy with that stuff.
I have found that. So I read some. One year, my friends got me a book about cheese. I loved it so much, and so I did read. I didn't dive deep into it, but things like a blue cheese, I found the way you're supposed to enjoy that. If you're snacking, say there's a tray out of a variety of cheeses, and there's a blue, you're supposed to put it in your mouth, place it on your tongue, and since it's so soft, is you kind of let it melt. You kind of let it sit there for a moment. You just
This is
don't
blue
dive
cheese?
into it and start chewing it,
Huh.
and you kind of like smear it around your tongue a little bit. And really take it in. I was like, okay. Once I started to hear things about that, there are ways that you can appreciate the flavor. Then I kind of like that.
So what I do is I take the cardboard roll from paper towel.
Okay.
I will put it in my mouth and I shove the cheese in that hole.
That way. So you hold it in that way.
Because I don't want it touching the taste buds.
You guys like a good blue cheese burger?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
So Casey, there was a place in that I saw it. It came into business. It was in Roxborough. It was stuffed burgers. and they advertised their blue cheese stuffed burgers. I think it was Stuff It or something like that.
Yeah.
I made it it was my dream, it was my quest, it was my holy grail. And by the time I finally got to getting around to going to it, it was closed.
Oh, man!
And so I feel robbed of that experience. But a good blue cheese in a good burger, not an evil burger, is a wonderful thing.
You do have to be in the mood for a blue, right? Like a blue burger, a blue cheeseburger, or whatever. Like even if you're snacking on it or whatever, like it's so palpable and it's so distinct in its flavor. Like you can put an American or even a cheddar on most burgers and you'll be fine.
Am I ultra pedestrian for really loving just Swiss cheese?
No,
I don't like it at all.
You know?
Nah, I can't stand it.
A good Jarlsberg. Yum.
Nah.
I like it. It definitely has a unique flavor, and it's not like yum yum yum.
It's more like
it's not one of your.
It's not a.
Is it a nom nom nom?
Yeah, the cartoons, they make the Swiss cheese look so good, and it just,
cartoons lie.
They do. I can't stand.
I
Swiss
fell off a
cheese.
cliff the other day. I did not leave a perfect imprint on my body on the ground.
Cartoons make Swiss cheese look so good.
Yeah.
Well, of course he's quoting FDR.
But like Tom and Jerry?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, yes, of course. It was supposed to look very, very appealing to Jerry.
Those soothing ASMR type videos. You talk about the videos you see on Instagram of people making cheese or carving cheese. Slicing cheese in slow motion is something that is very, again,
soothing.
another bizarre social media phenomenon.
You know what?
Cheese slicing.
I can't watch people tubing sausage on Instagram. It just grosses me out.
That's a good band name.
Tubing
sausage. Yeah.
I can't say that it grosses me out, but it's not necessarily a pleasant view.
It's inappropriate
to watch tubing sausage.
It looks like the machine is taking a dump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does kind of look like that.
You know my standing on any food that comes to you in a sock. I will not. I'm not a fan of the wursts and the bloodwurst and the bratwurst and the kielbasa.
Because of the casing, mainly?
I don't like it.
Okay,
Yes.
you're more of a loose sausage guy.
I'm more of a loose sausage guy. I have a relaxed attitude towards sausage.
Okay.
Yesterday around this time, we had Matthias from the Philadelphia Orchestra on the show, and Matthias had clearly been listening to our show before he came on. Do you think Kevin Costner's listening right now?
Well,
I was wondering.
If you're seeing a car hang a 180, that would be Kevin Costner's car.
We just got a text that they're 15 minutes away.
Okay. I have to admit, I'm nervous.
Listen, how can Kevin Costner not love cheese?
Yeah, well, no, I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
I bet we can bond with him over cheese.
It's a cheese that won the Wild West.
Yeah.
I'm finding out if he's listening to our cheese chat right now.
Okay.
How can he not love us?
In fact, call now, Kevin, if you're on the line, if you're listening to us, and we can talk cheese now. So when you get here, we'll talk about your movie.
All right. Do you think there's any movies where Kevin Costner has any interactions with cheese?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Bull cheese him.
Bull Cheesem is maybe my favorite of his movies, but I was going to say Field of Cheese.
Field of Cheese.
Dances with Jarlsberg.
Yeah. He gets a dog and a beer at Fenway in Field of Dreams, but I don't think there's any cheese on that dog.
I think there's a scene where Sean Connery is eating some cheese in The Untouchables.
Yeah. In fact,
but it's right before he gets killed, but Kevin's not in that scene.
Right.
his cheap cheese plate was
If
what
he
was
pulls out
untouchable.
Pepper Jack, you pull out.
No, he's eating. No, I know. He's eating sausage with a knife when they're waiting. Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you check it? Did you already check it? All right, then that's good. That's the Chicago way. That's how we eat loose sausage.
It's
around
turning
here.
around now,
I
guys.
wonder
know.
if draft
Listen.
day he probably has cheese. At some point he's eating breakfast. There's got to be cheese in his breakfast.
What? So besides the cheese, what was I going to say?
Well, today is National Cheese Day. That's why we got started on this.
That's
the first
it. I was trying to Alex Haley it back to the origins.
By the way, so excellent as a snack on its own.
Who says that?
This must be written by the Cheese Bureau.
Cheese is also a perfect ingredient in pasta, soup, souffle, and many other recipes. I love when these are how all of these National Day
They're horrible.
bios are.
You need to be a little bit more. You need to think outside the box.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a cheese that I'm thinking you're overlooking right now that I think is one of the finest cheeses. The cheese in French onion soup.
That's usually Gruyere.
Yes,
That's a
So
really good cheese.
It is also, and as I said before, provided one of my two closest brushes with death.
Yes. You can have it. You can choke on that stuff.
I tried to walk across the bottom of a pool wearing a scuba weight belt.
Yep.
And almost drowned, and then I almost choked to death.
Yeah.
On the cheese and French onion soup.
I've almost asphyxiated on French onion soup before too.
should it?
It's really good.
When
though.
French
What a
onion
way to go.
What a way to go out.
When
You
French
know?
onion soup is served, should it come with a little bit of a talk from the waiter or anybody serving it?
Probably,
Yes.
or at least they tell you that they're,
is
certified
lethal.
in the Heimlich maneuver.
For example, for that type of blowfish, that if it's not prepared, or that the fish is not prepared properly, it could be lethal.
Yep.
You should have that presented to you.
Agreed.
This soup might kill you.
You guys are not going to believe this, but I don't like onions. So how do you eat it? Like, is it just a constant string of cheese, or are you
The
like
cheese
cutting
is
it?
normally over. It's
Right,
on
I
the-
know how it's made. I see it, but I'm saying and I understand how you're choking on it. So how do you avoid choking on it?
So
it's hard.
I will cut it.
You can cut, okay.
And also you make sure with the spoon you have to take it in small pieces. I had like a silly putty egg-sized glob of this stuff, sealing up my throat.
Yeah, it's challenging to eat, Kathy. It's often messy. Like you're trying to dip the spoon into the cheese to separate the cheese from the soup, but you can only take small bites. And Steve's absolutely right. Like sometimes you lift the cheese up and all the cheese comes up with a spoon, and then your onion and soup ratio to cheese is way off.
And nothing is as embarrassing as having to tell the waiter you can cancel that main meal because he's dead.
Right, this guy here's dead.
Sorry, we're just going to wrap at the soup.
We're now a party of 3.
Choked on soup.
That's a band
It can
name.
happen. Choked on soup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Iggy
Like Hooked on
Pop's new
Phonics.
band, Choked on Soup.
They do mention in this, and it's been a long time since I've had this, but do you remember cheese balls?
Yeah.
Like a port wine cheese
I
ball
do not.
covered in nuts.
Kind of have, the nuts.
Yum.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yum, those are so good.
Are they? Because for some reason it doesn't look like something that would be.
That you would want. My aunt.
To me, it looks like a large cheese zit.
God.
Cheese it.
Cheese it.
Cheese it.
Cheese it.
That's what it is.
That was my aunt's thing. Every holiday, that would be the appetizer she would bring.
Yeah, those are good. It says here cheese is multinational, too.
So all this information on National Cheese Day.
Every nation in the world has its own variety of cheese.
What does Chinese cheese taste like?
That's a good question. I don't really
Victory.
know. Chinese cheese. Could you do a quick search on Chinese cheese? Maybe there's some varieties we haven't been familiar with. Oh, I've been given a wrap up.
Oh, is he here?
Yeah, well,
No,
not
he's
yet,
not
but
here.
we'll be here momentarily.
We need to prep things.
Oh, there's a link called All the Cheese in China. We'll do some research and we'll come back and we'll talk about that before we get to Kevin Costner.
No, we won't.
We'll make it part of the news tomorrow, Kathy. An investigative segment.
But today, June 4th, is National Cheese Day. So celebrate, please. We'll come back in a moment. And yes, Kevin Costner in our studio. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Pierre's got your shot at a pair of pit passes to see the world's greatest rock and roll band,
Don't get angry with me.
the Rolling Stones, at Lincoln Financial Field next Tuesday.
I go to her. Amber, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, what's up, Amber?
So much. I just the Christmas trees. The prices have been so crazy the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
We kind of started a new tradition in our family. When we go out to get the Christmas tree, we go up to them. We just ask them for show us the ugliest Christmas trees that you can, and we kind of make a game and see how pretty we can make it.
So you like
give them to us.
like Charlie Brown it up then.
Yeah,
I love
as
it.
as we can get it, and I tell my daughter every Christmas tree every tree deserves a Christmas.
That's a
Yeah,
I like that.
No, that's cool.
That's cute.
If you can do that, that's I'm down with that.
So you take an
Yeah.
ugly tree and you try to make it a beautiful tree.
So
yeah, and you have they come out awesome, but when we first bring them in the house, it's like, oh my God, they have 3 needles on them.
My wife tells the story of my father-in-law. They were 9 kids and a huge family, and they'd get a lesser level tree, and my father-in-law would get a drill, very handy. He would remove branches from the back of the tree, drill holes, and put
It's like
them,
a hair replacement for men.
Basically, is what he was doing, and fill out the tree.
All right.
And so they would get the tree up to decorating level, and it looked great.
That woman, Amber, said something that I think could be turned into a Christmas story. Every tree deserves a Christmas.
Yeah.
I think that could be a kid's book, don't you think?
Okay. Or the loneliest tree at the lot, the one that doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. That's overlooked all the time.
But then a wonderful thing happens. It gets thrown into a wood chipper.
Right.
Oh,
turn.
But then a wonderful thing, like
Jimmy Durante.
Yeah.
But then they chucked it into the wood chipper.
Yeah. They start with its feet.
Oh, dear God! Make it stop!
You see its little animated head with its mouth gaping open, and it's the last to go in.
Branchy was the last tree.
Branchy.
He was all dried up. Hardly anything left on him. But then Bill, the kindly owner, slowly fed him into a wood chipper.
If someone has the animation capabilities to turn that last little segment into a animated short, I would greatly appreciate that. Because I don't know about you guys, but I had a vision in my head of what that looked like. Branchy.
So many. Does it look like your year this year, Branchy?
Then it happened on, Christmas Day.
But I got you a surprise. A brand new Fuji wood chipper.
Well, what am I going to do with this?
Oh, my God.
Just go to sleep.
All right, so I have another. Would you guys? So I have a story of a mathematician, and while I was thinking about it, is that really considered science?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it's used in science, but it's
yes.
its own subject.
Let's
as
take
well.
that angle. It's used in science.
The reason I bring this up is because Jacques Tits died.
Oh my God!
The mathematician behind Tits Buildings, the Tits Alternative, the Tits Group, and the Tits Metric
Stop it. Yeah.
has passed away at 91.
Why'd you pick this story?
Well,
he's a
because he was an
mathematician.
important man.
Oh, all right. That's why.
Belgian-born mathematician Jacques Tits.
This is wild because he died in the same week Heinrich von Butthole died.
Oh, no. Oh, what a loss.
Who revolutionized calculus.
What a loss.
We lost Tits and Butthole in the same week.
I know.
Oh, my God.
What was his name?
Heinrich von Butthole.
Heinrich von Butthole. Well, Tits
Visionary, that guy.
Tits passed away on Sunday, leaving behind a legacy.
He's left an opening.
Why'd you pick this story?
Leaving behind a legacy of research in group theory and geometry. His tendency to name his contributions after himself suggests that he knew his tits' power. By the way, what is group theory? Because it sounds reminiscent of, well, no, that was governing dynamics, of the guy in Beautiful Mind.
Oh,
and I've forgotten his name.
Let's call him Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, you know. Miranda Otto, who is in the Lord of the Rings realm.
And it's time to get up and to tell people of Philadelphia it's Miranda Otto's birthday today.
Yes, I think it was in the third film. She plays a princess who disguises herself as a.
So she can fight.
Yes, as a soldier.
Is she not the daughter of the king as well?
I believe that is why she had to hide herself. Because
I have to see that movie again.
You do. They did really good.
How
with
did
you.
I come out?
You came out
Was
wonderful.
I good and heroic?
Of course you were.
Good.
You were eventually you were Gandalf the Grey, and then you became Gandalf the White, and
then Gandalf the Retired.
Everybody's
and finally Gandalf the Mobility Scooter.
She is 54 today. What?
Okay. I'm just looking at a picture of her. I know her.
Yeah, you know
I
her.
love her.
You know her, Casey?
Yeah, personally. She used to clean my house.
What the hell is happening?
I don't know. He's riffing. He's going.
I'm not riffing.
She really used to clean your house?
Yeah.
Damn. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild, man. You'd think she'd have some money from Lord of the Rings.
Well, no. I mean, she used to. Now
Right.
she's,
She's fallen on hard times.
meteoric rise.
Word has it that she gives handies for fivers.
It was tenor for me.
I wish
She's
this
very
would
popular in the Shire.
Well, the conversion from pounds to dollars.
Okay. Miranda Otto is 54, and she gives handies for $5.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Kristen Ritter has a birthday today. It's a big one for her. She's 40 years old, so a milestone birthday for her.
When we laugh at stuff like that exchange has just occurred, is a good portion of that laugh the knowledge that we're in the broadcasting Hall of Fame?
Oh, yeah.
That's the level that got us into the Hall of Fame.
It is. This gentleman is announcing his retirement.
Yes.
And we were all just jumping in going, oh, my God, I can't believe it. You know, and it went on and on and on.
It felt like a tectonic shift.
It did. And but the news is being broken now, and we're going to ease into whatever emotions we may have with this gentleman hanging up.
It's like that joke where they say, when the guy says, your mother died. You can't just tell me the news like that. You got to tell me, your mother was on the roof. And,
Right, yeah. He's into
you have
this
to
a little
parse
bit.
it out a bit.
So he's easing into it, and we're sad to hear the news, but looking forward to seeing him for at least the next year.
Yes.
So let's get him on now. Ladies and gentlemen, over 40 years he's been at this. Please welcome Jim Gardner from the 60 on the show. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, well, you know what? Listen, I'm gonna start with saying congratulations to you because retirement is something that I think should be celebrated. When somebody is ready to go ahead and put the career to rest, it's obviously people are not going to be happy about the fact that you're leaving, but still, I think it should be celebrated. You know.
Well, yes, I absolutely agree, and yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to a different life experience, but I've got another year or another 14 months at Channel 6, and I look forward to every day. So it's a bit of a strange experience because there was, a lot of talk yesterday and a lot of emotions yesterday, but meanwhile, I've got another year and
right,
yeah.
On the 6 o'clock news. So, what is it that we're really talking about?
Is that by design to let us, your viewers, down in an easy way, or is this for yourself?
No, yes, it's a way, that I can sort of transition to, a different situation. To tell you the truth, back in 2009, Dave Roberts retired from Channel 6, and this is how he did it. And I remember very clearly that he was working on the 6 o'clock news. He was taking the 11 o'clock news off. So when this whole thing came up a year or so ago with our general manager Bernie Brzezinski, I reverted back to I call it the Dave Roberts model. And I thought it worked very well for Dave. And I think it worked very well for Channel 6. And it was a sort of an easy or a graceful transition that I think benefited both the station and Dave.
It makes complete sense. And I think obviously, the station is going to want to do things. The city, I'm sure, will want to do things in acknowledgement of this. I think this is a perfect way to do it. You were very sweet in your commentary last night, announcing it. And there is something that happens to people who have schedules, as have we, that are off the 9 to 5 rail. And and you were saying you have had certain things in your life, or have not had certain things in your life for 4+ decades that are quite common for a lot of people. And I thought that was a sweet way to frame it. And I was nodding to my wife because she puts up with an askew schedule, and that it was very very sweet the way you phrased everything.
You're very kind. Yeah, I mean, I look forward to that. I'm not complaining that I haven't had it for 46, 47 years, but it is an opportunity for me to experience a more normal rhythm, a more normal rhythm of life, and to be able to linger over dinner with my wife, would be something I haven't really experienced in my lifetime. And
God.
It's something I look forward to.
Jim, can I ask how you approached your team members, your 11 o'clock team members, Cecily and Deuces and the like, and did you call everybody together, or did you do an individual meeting with each?
I didn't, although they've known about it for some time.
Okay.
We've had conversation about that. So it was no surprise to them.
Okay.
But I sent a memo to the staff yesterday, shortly before the station announced that, there would be this pullback and a year from now a retirement. I wanted to be the one to just let the staff know that this was happening. Not that I felt that, it was such a big deal that I was leaving, but there was going to be a substantial change.
All right, thanks, Kat. So our next guest is here to talk about Horizon, an American Saga. The writer, producer, director, star of the film, huge ensemble cast. And Chapter 1 opens on the 28th, and you've got Chapter 2 coming out August 16th, and a couple more after that. And it's a huge passion project for the one and only Mr. Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Who's here with us this morning. Hi, Kevin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
It's good, Kathy. You just sound like you're describing a war out there. I expected you to end it with, "We got these guys surrounded."
Some days it is.
That's essentially what's happening every morning.
Yeah. 36 years in the making, this film, from what I understand. You fought tooth and nail to make this project come together. And I'm curious, what was this story? Why so passionate about this to make this happen and take that long and stick it out so long?
Yeah, it represents something that's better than anything else I've tried to do. There's just, sometimes you read things and you think, I need to be the person to say that, to do that. I started this project in 1988 and was ready to make it in 2003, and people didn't want to make it. And I was trying to think about that a little bit, and I thought, probably what's missing is 4 more. So I thought, sure, I'm going to fool everybody. I'm going to make 4 more. And again, that didn't fly either. So in 2012, I spent about 5 years writing with my partner, John Baird, and pushing it forward. And nobody really wanted to make that. But, what happens is there's a thing that I believe in the moment in the theater. I believe in, I know, a lot of people think I make movies, for women or something on some level. I think that's a fundamental because there's great parts for women in the movies I do. I make my movies for men. I make them because of how somebody behaves in any one situation. I always didn't like going to theater when I thought people behaved dumbly in really critical situations or didn't behave honestly in really critical situations. So kind of men are a guide for me in terms of like, yeah, you did that right. But the thing that has always tracked for me was I felt like you can't have a great movie without having great women. And in this Western in particular, women really dominate the Western. If you've seen it,
I have. It's an amazing movie. I'm a fan of Westerns. There's a conceit about pizza that even bad pizza is good, but you can make a bad Western. But this is a Western movie for everybody. It is a Western movie, certainly for Western lovers. It's a classic film. It has all the things you would associate with it, but it goes so much further. And for 3 hours and 11 minutes with these stories that all.
Steve, it's 2:51.
The one I saw was
somebody told you 3. I got to quit with it.
Okay,
it's 2:51. Help everybody, please.
Well, I'll tell you this: it flies by because at the end, and I don't know if this is because the screener that we saw has at the end of it is sort of a montage of what is to come.
Oh yeah, well that's attached to it, but that's what it rolls in at.
Okay,
so thanks. No.
Credits in the montage. Bring it to
the montage. But I'll tell you this again. Because it's interesting, Kevin, because I was thinking, well, why would this not be released as perhaps a series or so on and so forth before I watched it? And then I watched it, and for its epic saga nature, I think it plays well as this big movie that you see. Go to the movies again to see the second part, because I was fully invested quickly. And that's obviously an attribute of yours as a storyteller. But right from the first scene, when you get a catch in your throat when this man and his son are out in the frontier and they are parsing off a improbable little parcel of land, which might as well be outer space. It's so sprawling, and then that sets in motion this story. I was hooked. So, and there are a multitude of stories that are that get you very emotional when you're making it as a filmmaker. Do you find yourself getting swept up in the emotion of it?
Yeah, I see it in the writing, and that's where we have to go because, movies at the end of the day, when they're working at their very best, they become about moments you never, ever forget. You can think about when you go to the movies when you're younger, you go, well, I guess that's how you kiss. That's how you do it. And you say, I guess that's how you become a man, even in defeat. You start to see how you want to behave. For as phony as movies are on some level, there's a reality of like who we want to be, who we can see, what we wish we would have said in a given moment, who stood up when everybody stood down, and think to yourself, well, that's who I need to be. So when I'm looking at these movies, yeah, I'm going to make a Western. Yes, I'm going to get to my gunfight, but I'm also going to see a woman who's just desperate to be clean, willing to just bathe herself and then cause the problems that come with that. It's just as important to me, as a gunfight. I'm sure people driving go, what, bathing? What? Gunfight? That's
it's a great scene. It's a great scene you're explaining.
But there's scenes like that. Just what happens when a young man makes a decision to be with his father versus going somewhere else, and you really know that that's the ultimate price that he will pay. There's moments in film that can kill us, and when they do, it reminds us of why we love to go and why we like to go and why we like to bring somebody back to it, because you need to see this. You need to see this. That's the feeling I want when I go to movies. I need to have my son or my daughter see this.
Well, mission accomplished, because I want my wife to see it, because I was watching it and in preparation for this, I had it up on the big screen and I wanted it to be as theatrical as possible. And there are those moments that you think about after. And that one scene in particular that you're talking about where a woman just simply wants to bathe. She's part of a wagon train. And what you do, and I love that you do this, is that we all know that they need water. But why? And what are the ramifications of not finding water?
You have to go a few steps further, right?
Right. And I love that. I'm fascinated by that, because that's a peek into, okay, we just assume there's this process. Well, what is that process? And how life and death is it? And Luke Wilson, who's leading the whole wagon train, explains what the case is. And at that moment, you're like, whoa, I didn't realize it was that.
Right, and then he has to go to talk to some guys and say, look, you got to kind of leave this woman alone. And they basically say, back off.
Yeah.
And when they do that, you think, ooh, what's that about? Because the first time you see the big guy, he's kind of lifting up a wagon. Oh, he's going to be the giant that puts in the light bulb all the time.
Right.
But no, there's a mixed bag out there that's going on. And I believe so much in those moments. So when you ask why this story, well, there's these things that take this genre that I love and yet kind of try to maybe remind me of why it is I love it. The way people dress, the way they had to think, the mistakes they had to avoid and didn't avoid, the kind of resourcefulness that took to carve a life out there. It was a 200, 300-year process that we don't think about.
So why 4 parts? What does that do in the storytelling process?
I just wasn't finished. It's what happens is, we're storytellers and we're different. And, for me to try to be conventional and do how somebody else does it, I'm willing to do that. I'm not, but, it's like, what if, convention, what if everybody's wrong?
No.
So what happens is this story is worth tracking. I mean, people do that on TV, but I've been making long movies for a long time. And when I'm done, when I feel like I've got to my thing, that's when I feel satisfied. And I don't know anybody. I mean, I've sat around campfires with dudes that just couldn't tell a story, and you wish you wouldn't even started. Oh. And I sat around with some people that you go, wow, when they're done, I just, I feel like they're done. The other guy wants to go, I got to start. No.
We'll pass.
No. Man, I have fallen in love with the Southwest. Where did you film?
Utah.
Okay. Southern Utah?
Yeah, I was in Moab and I was in St. George. Wow. And Prize. I just love
gorgeous.
Shooting there.
I stayed in
building a studio there. I just love it.
St. George is growing. It is a growing.
It's an amazing place.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I wanted to ask about the 11-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. That's, you start to bring the finished product out. You show it to people. You find out what their reaction is. That's obviously an overwhelming reaction. Some perspective, that's 3 minutes longer than Stairway to Heaven and 3 minutes longer than Paradise by the Dashboard Light, which are pretty long songs.
So I understand what the markers are in your life.
And
we can exhale right now.
We've always heard about these amazing receptions at that. What was that like, standing in that moment and receiving that type of an ovation?
Well, I didn't know what to do. The camera came very close to me. I also had my children, 5 of them, right, down next to me. My son later on said I'd never seen him emotional. And there was a moment where I didn't know what to do, and I found myself in the middle of that walking my life back, believe it or not.
Wow.
I felt the sound go away from me for a second, and I walked it back to the very beginning of what was it that I loved about movies. And it's when they just took me someplace. It's when they went on and I didn't want them to end. And I thought, what is it about that? And how did I get here? And pretty soon the sound obviously came back up and the camera was still there in my face. And I just, I was grateful. I'm grateful for people that want to be entertained, not, have to be entertained. They want to be. And they don't have to know everything about what's coming at them. I miss the curtain, when it used to open. I kind of like that moment. There's this moment when it goes like this. And right about here, you think this could be great.
Yeah.
And is it or is it not? It's not easy to make a good movie. So it's hard.
Yep.
So you have to think it through. That's why if they make a movie and people seem to like it, go, we got to make another one of these. What are we going to do? The early years, the late years, the middle years? They start carving it up. Me, I kind of like, let's do all 4 of them. I don't care what, I know that people are going to find this story, and the value of a movie does not exist completely in this opening weekend. It's what we are willing to revisit 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Can we go back to it? That's what I hope Horizon is. I hope it is people go to it. I hope they, even with a rating of R, you kind of go, wait a second, I just saw this. I said, my son can see this. I actually need him to. I need my daughter to see this. I actually need her to. I want to visit this summer. I want that feeling because I don't know any of us that doesn't hear a song like Heaven, right? Stairway, and then go the next day. I just heard the best song.
Right.
I just read the best book. I heard a pretty good joke. There's something in us that wants to share. Mm-hmm. And so when we see a story or we hear a thing, we want to do it. And I think that's my goal when I'm making movies can this be memorable? Can I take every moment? What happens at a bar when that one little boy is staring at the other little boy and his dad. And you're kind of mixed about that whole moment. And then finally the guy says, see if you can get them both. And you go, oh my God. We just start raising the stakes. And that's what I try to do for people in the dark. Let's raise the stakes. So let's do it intellectually.
It's funny when I hear you talk. You're describing the experience I had with my father, who loved movies. He passed away recently, but loved movies and made sure that we saw so many of the classics and just embraced it. And we would have conversations after the movies about the very moments you're talking about. What did you learn from that? When that guy reacted that way, what did it mean? And we would go to theaters that had the curtain that moved and that had the comedy and tragedy mass up on the wall. And it was something, we were quiet and it was reverential. And there's a lot of those moments in this movie. You as a director and writer direct your son, his debut, in a scene that is very, very powerful, where he makes a decision, as you said. There's a lot of tough decisions that are made in the movie. You're watching your son play son to another man and do something very heroic. What was that like?
Well, to make that moment come alive, and why sometimes my stories take a little bit longer, is you needed those first 2 scenes in front of it, which is one, every little boy ain't going to dance with his mom.
Yeah.
Boom. You know it right away that, well, this kid's kind of maybe like me. I ain't dancing with my mom. And then you go outside and somebody's pointing a gun and ends up pointing at his sister. And he kind of quietly puts that gun down. And we know right away we kind of like this young man. Kind of like him for a lot of reasons. And it's impossible to not like Sienna Miller. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's great.
And so next thing you know, they're walking home from a dance, right? They got to take their kids home. That seems right. The party's still going on, but how many of us have walked away because the kids got to get home? So everything is right in the kingdom. And then it turns into a dark place. Mm-hmm. And you see people behave, and you see them try to live one breath at a time. And you realize this happened 1,000 times.
Yeah.
100,000 times, 1,000,000 times. And that's kind of where I go. And it's like, when it was my son, hard to direct that sometimes.
Yeah, I would imagine. Sure. But there are so many random acts of, and I think this would probably be indicative of this time period in our country, random acts of brutality, but yet there are many moments throughout this movie that are inspiring and recapture, okay, this is why it's okay. There's a lot of terrible stuff that's going on out here, but here are glimpses of what makes us better people.
Right. I mean, just a mother and daughter sharing breath to live.
Yeah.
You know, it's like your daughter comes first, you know, but it's just, they're us. It's every decade. There's somebody selling something in Chicago and people are dying in the Southwest over it. We have salesmen now that we push our button, they get our credit card.
Right.
Look at their salesmen. There's pedophiles. There's bullies.
Yeah.
There's also noble acts. There's heroism. You know, my character going up the hill is what he has something inside him, but in truth, when he's going up the hill, he's a little bit weirded out by this guy. It's a longer scene. He's scared a little bit. So that's why I draw first. That's like, I'm just not going to wait.
If I describe that scene, and it's a great scene, I was telling Preston about it. It's a very tense scene. Yeah. You have a guy who you know you quickly surmise is up to no good, and you're directing, is mounting the tension, and there's an inevitability to it. We know a bit about your character. When you're pacing something like that on a scale this big, and obviously you've won the Oscar for directing, you know what you're doing, and even with video playback and so on and so forth, you know, at what point are you confident? I mean, to me, it would seem so overwhelming to know, is this conveying the tension I wanted to convey in the way I wanted to be?
And it's on paper for me. For as visual as it becomes, it's kind of so much in my head. The key to that whole last thing, even though you could isolate 15 lines, which is what I love about it. I believe in the literature of Westerns. It's our Shakespeare. But when the one guy says, you're running out of houses, well, you might as well just turn the bottle over on the Wizard of Oz, and now you got about seconds before something's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
There's these moments, and you can trace them back. That finger's going to break if you don't. I don't know what it is you got going on. I mean, are you the kid in the back of the class going,
That's exactly what I'm doing.
We do that so we don't step on
But I
each
wanted to, you give such thoughtful answers, so I didn't want to interrupt any of those answers that you were given. I'm in a few weeks, I'm driving across the country with my fiance and my son, and we're going to make a stop in Dyersville, Iowa, where they shot Field of Dreams. And we're going to stop and see the house. And today's my dad's 77th birthday. And you talked earlier about moments in movies that kill you. And I never can get through the end of that movie without crying, and because of the impact that has on, you know, the father and son relationship. And you were just describing that with your own son in real life and in films. How important is it to you to include stories like that, father-son relationships, mother-daughter relationships, in your storytelling?
It's not that important that I include it, but if they're there, I don't shy away from it. What happens is the world you go into, you want to just step into it as honestly as possible, and you're not going to be able to tell the story unless you look at the indigenous and think that they have trouble with their wives. They have trouble with their families splitting up. They have trouble with decisions that are being made. And suddenly we're all on the same footing. And the little boy reaches back and touches the hand of his father.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You know, and then one kid says, he goes, I don't have anything to give you because I don't need anything.
Yeah, I mean, that again, that's another lump in the throat part when that sequence takes place. There's another part, and I could go through about 50, but there's one where the colonel is describing
manifest destiny.
Yeah, and he's saying that the Indians believed if we could salt the earth with their bodies, that these wagons would stop coming and they would leave our land alone. But it's almost like The Great Gatsby. That dream is gone. You're not going to stop.
I love that you heard that because, you know, everybody thinks it's the gunfight. It's the words in Westerns that mean something. It's like you stop. I mean, what Danny gets to do there is the same thing that James Earl Jones got to do in Field of Dreams. He described baseball in a way that Mickey Mantle never could. DiMaggio couldn't. Ted Williams couldn't. Willie Mays couldn't. But here's this non-athlete doing Field of Dreams and suddenly explains baseball to us that even baseball guys get. And Manifest Destiny, we're thinking, what is it that drove people across this country? I mean, let's think about it. We got all these crummy Westerns back. I mean, I watched them, but they weren't very good. The Native Americans weren't dressed properly, that they weren't realistic situations, but there was real drama going on. And what happens when you see people on the side of the road and you're this far away? You're not going back home. You're not going back east because, you know, getting across the country now for us is a meal, a movie, and a nap.
Right.
and put your seatbelt back on. Back when you're out there, so your wife's looking at you, go, really, dummy? This is where we're at? And so what happens is, what do you tell your sons? What do you tell your wife? And you simply tell them, we're going to be luckier than these people.
And
we're gonna
take it on faith.
And we're going to keep coming.
Yeah.
And the natives standing somewhere looking down and going, this is hopeless.
Yeah.
This is inevitable.
Kevin Costner in our studio, Horizon American Saga, Volume 1, Chapter 1 comes out June 28th. Okay, Kathy's going to jump out of her skin if she doesn't get to ask about Yellowstone. So here we go.
It's war. War's back on.
She's our war reporter, our war correspondent.
I am the biggest Yellowstone fan. I loved it. I loved every second of it. And so much so that I would dream about it. I dreamed about living on the ranch. And so the last year or so, whatever it is, has been a bit of a nightmare for me. Are you going to play John Dutton again?
If a script comes to me and I really, really like it, of course I'm going to do it.
There you go. Excellent. Is that a good enough answer, Kathy?
I don't know.
Because if you could quiet her down for a little bit, we'd appreciate it. She's on and on.
Just go like that. She'll stop. I see this thing and like this.
Other than being the patriarch in Yellowstone, do you have anything to do with 1883 or 1923?
No.
Okay. Because when you were talking about Horizon, I couldn't help but, and you were talking about the wonderful parts for women and these stories. I was thinking about the stories of the Dutton family and how everything started in 1883. So, all right, we can move on from that.
Well, I had a question about other works that you've done, Kevin, and I didn't realize this. That I found out recently a friend of mine has a mutual affinity for Fandango, and what I didn't realize was that movie has taken on a cult status of its own, to where there are conventions and events that take place around the movie Fandango. Yeah. And it happened under my radar. I didn't know about it.
It became a rite of passage movie.
When that music comes in, dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
No, it goes back. It's a coming of age movie that wasn't just about getting laid. You know, I'm thinking to myself, well, I didn't get laid in high school either, so I don't give a shit about these movies. So there was something. There was the specter of Vietnam at the end where it just snuck up on you. So it was just a coming of age movie. I was really happy to be able to do that movie.
That's brilliant. There's so many movies in your career that we could say thank you for over and over, because we've gotten so much entertainment out of it.
And there's legitimate thanks. I mean, honestly,
legitimate thanks.
And to your point, it's been a pervasive point throughout this, which is those are the maybe, and you've said it. We're making movies, but on one level, it resonates with people. The amount of conversations I had with my dad over movies and the bonding. It's something very profound, but with all this stuff, I don't want to detract from the fact that there are moments of levity in Horizon, there's a terrific part, and I'll give it away. What the hell? Sam Worthington is a cavalryman, and he's asking the people why they chose to move to this area when they've just been massacred. Basically, he points over at three.
Did you take that as a sign?
Yeah. Well, did you take that as a sign? And the response is, yeah, that's why we moved to this side of the river.
Yes.
Which cracked me the hell up.
How'd that work out for you?
I believe that, let's think about this for sure. Nothing suffers from a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
At job, at relationships, of things like this. And if that finger goes up one more time, young man, I'm teasing you. But no, movies have that. And they don't have out loud laugh. It's kind of that inward. It tickled you.
Yeah, it did.
What goes on? I mean, to line with that sociopath, maybe you're from China.
Yeah, right.
It's like, what do you use that gun for? Pound nails in it? I don't think so. So the language of that, I'm so interested in that. I'll get to my gunfight, promise.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the cast, because you've got a stellar cast, obviously, and there's some familiar faces with people you've worked with before. Will Patton, Giovanni Ribisi, Jenna Malone. Obviously, we've mentioned Sienna Miller and a lot of the other big names. Michael Rooker's in there.
Rooker's great.
Yeah. Was these people were handpicked by you, I assume?
Yeah. And there's a couple emerging ones. I mean, we got the young woman, you're going to see her in 2. It's in the wagon train. Ella Hunt, she's like our generation's Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so brave and good. And Abby Lee, the girl in purple who just, spins and gets into she's amazing. I mean, really, you're going to see some young women here. And Jenna Malone is somebody that, I work with in Love of the Game and other things. So I bring the people back that can bubble these things up.
Had you worked with Tatanka Means before? And I know his father's Russell.
No,
right?
I hadn't.
Yeah,
No.
Reservation Dogs is a great show, and he's on that. And my the two favorite early '90s movies that have to do with Native American culture are Dances with the Wolves and Last of the Mohicans.
Right.
And Russell Means is in Last of the Mohicans, and now his son is in this movie with you. Yeah, he's fantastic.
No, he is, and everybody that is from extras on to stuntmen that do Native American roles are Native Americans in my movies.
I'm watching, is that authentic Apache that's being spoken?
Yeah, well, it's White Mountain. It's I forget how to pronounce the name, but yes.
Because I never heard something that sounded that authentic, at least to my ears.
Yeah.
And all of that, you're getting sort of a mirror story told, as you said. Everyone's having their divisions. Everyone's having their tough decisions on both sides of this. Almost.
Yeah, you're just coming in at just a pinpoint, and there's a moment of desperation. And really, what he's saying is, I just saw a guy get killed over a deer.
Yeah.
Now that didn't used to happen. These people had already worked out their boundaries. You're up there. We don't go hunt that way. We don't get it. But the minute white people stuck their stakes in the ground at a river where they crossed, it was like the opening image of this movie, which isn't just a boy. It's an anthill, and you stick a stake in it. And out come the ants. And what we did was we went back there and we disrupted their lives when they had found a level of order. Not absolute peacefulness. There was warring, there was trading. But America, I was even driving on the freeway here about 4 miles an hour. And I looked out, and a cop wanted to pull me over. I said, ooh, no mushrooms. I'm just going slow. But I looked at how dense the forest was, But what we realize is America, when you think about Europe, it was the Garden of Eden 200 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was just the animals, and it was people living and existing, and there wasn't buildings. It was light. America's an amazing place.
Yeah.
And a lot of these places still exist, and we put our finger in the anthole.
Yeah.
I tried to think of a unique question that I could ask you, Kevin, and I came up with this one. If Roy McAvoy were to take a 23andMe DNA test, do you think he would be related to Jake from Silverado?
You did think about it. Yeah, there's a thread. I like rascals. I like people who almost get there because it's so hard to get there. I mean, and I love, I think one of my favorite scenes is a movie in Giant where you take Rock Hudson, this beautiful man, and Liz Taylor, the beautiful Liz Taylor, and he's a bigot the entire movie, and he ultimately his son is with a Mexican woman, and so he hates that, and he's a big wheel in Texas, and that doesn't fly in Texas, and this is a movie back in the 50s. And in the end, he's now an older man, still a big deal in Texas, but he's out in a little diner with Liz Taylor, and she's gray hair too, and they're with their daughter-in-law, and she's Mexican, and his little granddaughter's very Mexican looking and won't be served. They won't serve him. And he's looking up as a big deal, and he goes, what's this about? And the guy says, I'm not serving. He says, you're not serving. The same thing that he'd been living his whole life, and he suddenly felt it. Mm-hmm. He felt the bigotry, and he gets into an all-out fist fight. I think the Yellow Rose of Texas plays behind that. Da-da-da-dun-dun-dun. So it's kind of corny. But the point is, they had this brawl, and they fought. And I'm thinking to myself, as a young man, the hero's losing. I don't understand this. And Rock is getting beat.
Yeah.
And finally, he's beaten to a pulp. And finally, he's laying at the end after a elongated fight. He's slumped. And I'm thinking, that doesn't happen in movies. It doesn't happen in America. He got beat up by this guy I don't know, that I don't even like, that wouldn't serve a thing. And Liz Taylor goes over to him, who tried to educate him about what things were. And she kneels down to him, and she says, you never stood taller.
Mm. Yeah. Powerful.
And I thought to myself, okay, that's who I need to be. Mm. at that moment, and so you look at those things. So.
Giants was one of my father's favorite movies. I swear to God, we watched
Listen,
it all
you
the
need to
time.
go to your room, son. You're like, no,
it's a terrific movie, and again, there are similar elements in this epic story that all these things in sort of a James Michener kind of stories and you spend time with it because everything starts to dovetail in a way that's unforeseen, and I'm legitimately excited for the next movie. I love this movie, and I love the sprawling nature of it. And when something's good and really good, you want more of it.
We've been doing this radio show since 1998. This is a highlight of our career for all of us, and I know I can speak for all of us. So you are recognized everywhere you go. What is that like? We were talking earlier. Today's Angelina Jolie's birthday, and I walked past her at an airport, and I looked up, and I immediately knew who it was, and all I could say was, "Oh my God!" And she smiled at me like, "Yeah, I get that all the time."
She thought she was God.
It could be the case.
I don't know. I if I tried to walk the breadcrumbs of my life backwards, I don't know. How this happened. I knew my life was going to be about something. But I was, I put myself through college. I worked on fishing boats. I framed houses because I figured out if I could make $100 a day times 365 days a year, I figured out what I might be able to make. And I had a car that I made sure I parked uphill because it couldn't start, and I needed to push it and pop the clutch. And because I couldn't frame a house fast enough, I would, my battery would often go out. But you had to finish a house a day to get the house the next day. So my life is so close to other people. But I had this idea about storytelling. My dad's out of Oklahoma, like a fist fighter. And so it was a blue-collar thing, lost everything in the Dust Bowl. And so the reality for me was, I guess that's what I was going to do. But I worked my whole life. But my dad would look at me and he said, "You're daydreaming." And that was code for being lazy, which I wasn't. I was thinking about other things, and I didn't realize, and I thank God that I could turn storytelling into a way to make a living. I didn't know that even existed. I thought the people that were on the screen that I saw, I thought they were born there.
Well, there's plenty of story to be told in Horizon and American Saga. Chapter 1 is in theaters on June 28th. The second one comes out August 16th. Any projected idea on the following two, 2025, I assume?
Well, I'm shooting 3. I'm going to go back on Wednesday. I'll be directing tomorrow morning.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I just keep pushing this rock uphill. I'm not done. I made these movies for people.
Well, you better, because that montage
I wish the curtain, I wish the curtain was there, but it's not. So really, it's I kind of made this. I wish people would make this kind of movie for me. I wish it's like a Father's Day, but it's not. It's a Mother's Day. It's a rough, tough family movie.
Yeah, it is absolutely a great American Western movie. Loved it.
Kevin, thanks so much for coming by. It's been a real treat.
You guys have been great.
We appreciate it. Kevin Costner, everyone.
Something you wanted to say?
Excellent. Music from Tim Cup as we make our way out. We do have to take a break. We'll do that very thing. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us, please.
I thought that it was appropriate for everybody to hear it from me. And so I wrote this memo, and shortly thereafter, the station made the announcement. And, today we've got news to cover.
That's the way you approach it, yes.
Jim, this is Nick. We've had an opportunity to chat a couple times about travel that you've had over the last few years when you've come down to Camp Out, and thank you for being a part of Camp Out over the last few years. I'm curious as to what's on top of your bucket list once you have retired of where you're going to go. What are you going to see that you haven't been able to get to yet?
That's interesting. My wife and I were just talking about going on a tour of Scandinavia. My son is taking his second semester of his junior year he's in college, and he's taking his second semester in Copenhagen. So we're going to go to visit him at some point, but it's still going to be chilly there. So I think we're going to put off a tour, until it gets warmer and there is a more leisurely opportunity to really take in that part of the world. So that seems to be number one on our bucket list, and there'll be many more to follow, I believe.
Jim, I was curious if your timing of this, of you finally hanging it up, was so you wouldn't have to go through another election cycle again.
Well, it's funny you say that because this was supposed to end a number of years ago, actually, and there were 2 extensions. I asked Bernie if it would be all right if I could extend a couple of times, and not the last time, but the time before that was so that I could be here for the last election cycle. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to very much be present during the Trump phenomenon. I just thought it was an extraordinarily compelling political story, and I am something of a politics nerd. And, you know, you can say what you want about your personal feelings or your political preferences, but from a journalistic standpoint, obviously the whole Trump era, and who knows if it's over or not, has been just extraordinarily compelling, and I wanted to take part in that.
Okay.
And then the second extension was, you know, in the formative stages of the pandemic, and I just felt very strongly that I wanted to be here for that story. It was, you know, and continues to be a unique story that really covers every facet of, you know, our human endeavor. You know, it's on one level, it's very personal. On another level, it's very societal. You know, we go from a story of people's fears and anxieties, fears about their own health, and whether they're going to, you know, escape the fate of hundreds of thousands of their countrymen. And on the other hand, it's, you know, an extraordinary public health story. You know, it's a story where people are hoping that this economic crisis doesn't affect them. People have lost their jobs. People have, you know, suffered real economic dislocation. On the other hand, it is an extraordinary economic story on a national and worldwide level. So, you know, there's so many different aspects to it that really touch all of our lives, and I just wanted to be here for that. And, you know, the story continues to unfold.
There's a scene in the great the Patty Chayefsky movie Network where the William Holden is talking about, you know, his plans, and he goes he's gonna, you know, I'm gonna write a book. He goes, everybody writes a book. But I honestly would say I would love to read a book about your life. Yeah. If you, you know, if that's in the works. You talk about being a political junkie. I am as well. And, you know, I'd love to, you know, get some insight over your many decades dealing with everything as it has progressed.
Well, you may have to wait a while.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Just include a lot of pictures because I'm not very smart.
No, it's funny. I had a very, very nice email from Bob Iger, you know, who's the former CEO of the Disney company. He's still, I think, chairman of the board, and he was very, very generous with some of the things he said. But I recall talking to him at a Disney dinner in New York, and it was shortly after wrote his book, which was very, very good and very informative, and I really enjoyed writing it. But I had the occasion to say, "Hey, I read your book." He said, "Here's some advice, Jim. Never write a book." He said it was easily one of the most difficult and arduous tasks of my life, and my advice to you would be, don't do it.
Okay. So, well, we don't want to cause undue stress. If it's something that floats your boat later on, yes, so you would definitely. I would definitely purchase a copy. That's all I'm saying. I also want to say, and we were talking about this earlier, is that listen, the same way we have Pierre Robert here at the station, who is an icon in rock radio, and
his 40th year is this month,
and you know, we were saying you are. There is, having lived in different markets, there is none smoother than you and more competent on the air. I mean, you're
the best I've ever seen.
The best we've ever seen.
Yeah,
so
and he's the standard that I hold everybody else up to. So
Right.
whenever I travel to another city and I'm in that hotel and I turn on the local newscast, I'm like, not Jim Gardner.
ain't happening.
Nope.
Yeah. So does that create an extra onus and weight on you as you depart, or is it how do you? Or, I assume you're not walking around with the "I'm number one" T-shirt on and all that stuff. So how do you process all this?
It's. I have always thought that 85-90% of my job takes place in the newsroom, not in the studio, and I've always felt very strongly about that. I think probably there are some people in this business who see it the other way around, where they identify most of their their work and what they're being paid for is the actual newscast.
Yeah.
And that may well be. I've just never identified things that way. I work very closely with producers and I'm very, very engaged. Some would say too engaged in the evolution of every newscast. And so what happens in the studio is almost like putting a period at the end of a task that to me takes place elsewhere. I have never thought that I was, and I'm not being falsely humble. I've never thought that I was particularly skilled as an on-air anchor person. I've never spent much time trying to cultivate, a presence, a personality. I just read the news.
Yeah.
And maybe that serves me well. I don't know, but I've often, or most often, thought that my work in the studio was left a lot to be desired, and certainly wasn't as developed as my work in the newsroom. So, if you guys think that I've done a good job in that part of my job, then I'm grateful, but I've never seen it that way.
Right.
Oh, I absolutely, and I think part of what it is, I absolutely think that, but I think it's your delivery and the comfort that you give to your viewers. Whatever, is happening in this world and whatever your, information that you're imparting to us, it's you deliver it in a way that makes us feel comfortable and that it's going to be okay. I mean, at least that's what I experienced when I watched Jim.
I appreciate that. That's terrific, and I'm glad that you feel that way. It's never my intention to make a news story more comforting than it deserves to be. Unfortunately, or whatever, the reality is that we're talking in the news business mostly about difficult subjects.
Yes.
And
yes.
Oftentimes, unpleasant stories. And I don't know that it's an anchorman's job to reach out and hold the hand of an audience to make them feel better. But if there's a certain, what I think it is, and forgive me, I'm perhaps making conclusions here that I have no right to make. But I think if an anchor person has a sense of empathy, in addition to, being a reasonably smart man or woman and having good writing skills and being ultimately, curious. I think if an anchor person has empathy, that really comes through.
Yes.
And I think I do. I think I'm an empathic person. I think my friends and my family would say I'm an empathic person. So if that comes through, I'm really glad.
And I just said, look, we'd like learning from people, especially people who've, had some really extraordinary things happen in their life that we're genuinely interested in how you tick and what goes on. He was just super nice.
Yeah, he said you guys were very smooth in a genuine way.
Yeah, so that was amazing.
And that's the best part too, is like after it's over and then they continue to talk to us and
They don't want to beeline out of here.
Well, and compliment us. Like that's for us in our career, that's the best part.
His producer is a guy named Rod Lake, and he was saying some really nice things. You guys were getting some pictures and stuff, and they were genuine. The things that Rod was saying. I did ask Kevin if he wanted to go to the ball game tonight. I mean,
He might have taken you up on it yesterday.
Well, and so I shot my shot, but maybe next time he's in town.
He's he said to us off air too. He goes, "Can I come back 3 more times?"
Yes,
we said,
yes, you can
if the schedule allows.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
We might have Pauly Shore that day. I don't know. But Pauly was awesome the other day too. But that was super special.
That was great.
That's one of those moments we'll always look back on.
Tell you categorically, see the movie because there's not an experience like this where I remember in the days when Connery talk about the connection to Connery and Untouchables, the James Bond movies, Connery movies would be coming out like every year in the earlier Bond days. Well, this is a saga that is, and as a Western lover, I think, he's got it all the boxes checked and then some. So I am very excited. You know how you react. It's a visceral reaction. I'm very excited to see the second movie.
Well, I did watch some of the movie. I didn't get to watch all of it, Steve, like you. But with Yellowstone and that, it drew me into Westerns. Like, I'm really liking it. And, I think it's because of him.
You're honestly, when you get to watch the whole thing, there's enough there that of everything you like. And for Yellowstone, yes, it's going to translate marvelous.
Well, that movie, it grabs you from the very beginning.
And it's action.
Wow. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to short Bizarre File, and then we're going to do lesson, question, trash, and music news all right here, right now.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Delco Trim Light. You can visit delcotrimlight.com. Schedule an estimate on installation of the coolest permanent programmable holiday lighting system around. This is disturbing. A black bear was found dead in a plastic bag near a park's walking trail in Arlington, Virginia, just outside of D.C.
Sounds like the woodchucks are sending a message.
On Friday, a plastic bag was reported near a walking trail on Spout Run Parkway. Police suspected there was a dog inside, but instead they found the body of a black bear. Chelsea Jones with Animal Welfare League said it is a very unusual incident. She said that
did a new bear place open up in town?
She said, and they serve them bagged? I don't know. She said that a local resident found the black bear and reported the incident. The bear was at least several hundred pounds.
Where do I go for good bear in town?
And now officials are conducting a forensic investigation to determine the bear's cause of death. Jones said that it is unknown whether or not the bear died of natural causes or if it was intentionally killed by humans. But adds that if it was killed, it could be considered a crime. According to Virginia law, there are only 2 situations in which a person can kill a black bear in the state. The bear is injured or is attempting to injure a person, or a person is pursuing a bear immediately after it injured or attempted to injure a person. So if the above occurred and led to the death of the bear, then the person who killed the bear must report the incident to a state
Why are they
conservation.
totally ignoring suicide as a potential?
Well, maybe they're overlooking that. All right, and then we'll do one more story and we will wrap it up. There's another messed up one, so why not? A 46-year-old man was transported to an area hospital after he was bit by a shark at Del Mar Beach in San Diego County on Sunday. The incident took place approximately 9 a.m. and only 100 yards offshore from the Beach Safety Center. The victim was transported by ambulance to the hospital with injuries including bites to the torso, left arm, and hand.
Beach Safety Center, huh?
Yeah, right. The injuries are significant but not believed to be life-threatening. The man was in stable condition, receiving treatment for his injuries.
Apparently sharks can't read.
The 46-year-old man was conscious and oriented, relaying some information to the treating staff members after the incident. The victim was in a group of about a dozen ocean swimmers who meet regularly to train there in Del Mar.
Oh, yeah. That's my mark.
Lifeguards closed the beach for swimming and surfing after the incident. So we're keeping it kind of short. We went a little bit long. So now we need to do today's lesson question. And Nick, I turn to you.
Oh, man.
For that. And I'll mention the prize, by the way. We have a pair of Maury's Piers same-day ride and water park combo tickets to give away. You got one?
I do, yes.
All right, what is it?
Which historical figure originally said, "Cartoons make cheese look so good"?
All right. I don't know the answer to this. I remember the conversation.
I remember.
215-263-WMMR.
Which historical figure originally said, cartoons make cheese look so good?
All right, call now if you know the answer.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, it's brought to you by College Ave. Take the stress out of paying for college with a private student loan built for your family's budget and goals. Get college covered today at collegeave.com. What's going on, Steve?
Well, Jennifer Lopez canceling her summer tour to spend more time with her family. Lopez says not to be fooled by the rocks that she's got. She is still Jenny from a staggeringly expensive part of Beverly Hills.
Hey!
The 62% box office decline of Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, putting it second to the Garfield movie, has Hollywood execs more than concerned. In fact, work is already underway to reissue a re-release in which Furiosa really loves lasagna.
Oh, my God.
And finally, Bridgerton actress Jessica Marsden admitting she thought there would be more of a response to her coming out as a lesbian over the weekend. Some are suggesting that coming out during an entire month devoted to being gay has all the impact of admitting you have the Christmas spirit during December. And that's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we are looking for the answer. Which historical figure said that they sure do make Swiss cheese look great in cartoons?
Which historical figure originally said, cartoons make cheese look so good?
All right, 215-263-WMMR is our number. And let's see if somebody knows the answer. And we are going to go to Tom to see if he's got it. Hey, Tom, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Tom, who said that they make cheese look so good in cartoons?
Oh, that was the great FDR.
That's right. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Exactly, sir. Hang on. Got yourself a pair of tickets to the world's largest, a pair of tickets for Maurice Piers and their same-day ride and water park combo. You can check out our big friggin' deal. Get a same-day ride and water park ticket to Maurice Piers for just $70 and enjoy unlimited rides on 3 piers and both water parks for a whole day. You can get this exclusive offer while supplies last at WMMR.com/deal.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
I got a couple of stories to pass along to you. After a year of electrifying performances around the world, Queens of the Stone Age have announced their final North American dates for their 2024 The End is Nero tour. The show will kick off at Boston's MGM Music Hall at Fenway and include stops in Cincinnati, Chicago, Madison, Wisconsin as well. Pre-sale tickets are available today, starting about 30 minutes ago. And general sales begin Friday, 10 a.m. local time, wherever you may be. Meanwhile, their long out-of-print 1998 self-titled debut album will be reissued on June 21st as a double LP featuring 3 bonus tracks. The Bronze, These Aren't the Droids You're Looking For, and Spiders and Vinegaroons. I love that. This reissue will be available through Queens of the Stone Age, Matador Records, and local record stores. And then just one other thing, Radiohead and the Smile frontman Tom York has announced a rare solo tour for October and November, marking his first solo performances since 2019. It's all going to be out of country. The tour will feature shows in New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, and Japan, where York will perform versions of songs from his extensive career. In a statement, he mentioned that he will be, quote, alone on stage trying a new kind of solo show thing. Ticket information varies by date.
It's a freeform jazz experiment, Preston.
It can be found on WASTE before this solo tour. York will be touring Europe with The Smile, who released their second album, Wall of Eyes, at the beginning of this year.
Have you ever seen a solo show? It's pretty interesting. He swallows a light bulb and he spits it back up.
And he spits it back up. It is a different approach. A completely different approach, apparently. So
we have that guy in studio.
No.
We had a guy
oh my
similar.
God, I would love to have seen that guy.
Is that guy alive?
I think so. We talked about him one time, I remember. And
I asked him how his career was going one time, and he just lit up.
Because of the light bulb. It is Tattoos Day. We are on the last stretch of you winning a Preston Steve Show themed tattoo. So text word tattoo to 39333. And you might win, because when we get back, we will find out who that is. And
Very
it's a
exciting.
$350 gift certificate from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. We'll come back in a second and wrap up our program. By the way, that guy's name is Todd Robbins. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents the I Believe.
If it brings some people comfort, that's terrific.
Well, it's not even up for debate. It obviously has all of the things that you might not see, we see, and that's what's made it work for so long. And you talk about something, you're bringing up something. There was a book from an author, Cheryl Atkinson, who used to be a CBS reporter and investigative reporter, and she writes a lot about the news industry. And she's sort of echoing what you said, that the sort of inclination now to make the news giver the news and the star and personality is not what people really want. It might be here's a gimmick, but she recounted a story of, I forget what station she was at, and the lead anchor, his wife had twins, and the news director said, if I hear anything about this on the air, I will go out of my mind. We're not the story. The news is the story. And I think your reticence to as you said, not over to be a Pollyanna with the news, but also not to falsely terrify the viewers is what served you so well, and it's why you are so revered in this industry.
I really don't know what to say about that.
I know we're throwing a lot of compliments at you, Jim, but yeah.
Yeah, when you use words like revered and stuff like that, it's, it makes me feel kind of awkward.
I got you.
Well, you're going to have to deal with
it. Don't worry, I'll make you feel even more.
You got
awkward,
a
Jim.
year of it.
Jim, this is Casey here, and so if I can just offer you a little bit of advice over the next year and month or so, if you could just, on a personal level, move closer to the world, my friend, and just take a little bit of time. If you move closer to the world, my friend, you'll see. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let me say one thing, by the way. This is very important. Casey.
Okay.
Yeah.
The man who hired me at Channel 6 said the smartest thing someone can do in this industry who is looking, to get a good start in their profession is to work for a good television station and to work for a successful television station. I have been blessed to have had the opportunity to work for, as far as I'm concerned, the best television station in America, to work with colleagues who are unfailingly devoted to their craft, who have been competent, who have been insistent on being fair, being right, who have really paid so much attention to the little things that become enormously important. They have made me much better, seem much better than I am over the years. I have been the luckiest guy in this industry. People, focus on the man or woman who is sitting at the anchor desk reading the news, and the fact is that our most important job is to represent the hundreds of people whose work and toil and devotion go into every newscast. I've had, even right now, my 6 o'clock producer, Jamie Shore, my 11 o'clock producer, Laura Mamarella, our executive producers, Matt Dennis, people like this who the public never gets to know. They're brilliant. They are, they're devoted. They are devoted not just to the task, but to the industry and to the constant effort to make Channel 6 not just a good news station, but a good member of this community, a good citizen. And we're very proud of that. And I am not just proud of my work, and I am, but I am proud to have been a member of an effort on the part of hundreds of people over the course of the decades. And I've heard from a lot of these, my former colleagues over the last 24 hours. It has been great to touch base with people whom I haven't talked to or had communications with for a number of years. And it just brings to my mind that if a television station is successful, it's because it has had great leadership over the course of time, and it has had people of great character and people of great motivation, in addition to the fact that they're really good at their jobs. And, I've been the beneficiary of all of that. And
I'm sure they would say the same of
the
you.
luckiest guy.
Yeah.
I'm the luckiest guy in this business. I really am. I feel that way, and it's absolutely true.
Well, we can relate. I mean, I'm sorry to jump
No,
in.
no,
Steve,
absolutely. Go ahead.
But as you were describing that about 6 ABC, WPVI, it's how we feel about WMMR. It's
Yes.
the same thing. It's a wonderful environment and a blessing to be able to say that.
You guys would understand
Yeah.
better than anyone else I could be talking to. Absolutely.
You know what, Jim? I'll say this, and I look forward to that in your time after the news desk, where I can finally see you at a Sixers game being ejected for overly razzing the opposing team.
In my younger life, that happened all the time.
Oh, really?
So, Jim, for Camp Out for Hunger 2022, you'll be on the edge of retirement at that point.
yeah.
You can really do whatever you want. We got the can drop. We'll bring back the chili cannon. We can do a stunt. Whatever you want.
His nights will be open.
You'll
Yes.
be
Yeah.
free. So if you a year from now, just put that on your calendar.
Hey, you started in radio a bit, so we're welcoming you back.
Hey, I was the guy who, set fire to my colleague's newscast, while he was reading it on the radio. And I'm sure all of you guys have had that experience. And that was the 24-year-old Jim Gordon.
We love that.
Jim, I know that you are a huge Sixers fan. Have you had the opportunity to ring the bell before a game yet?
They asked me to do it last year, and it was much fun. And apparently, this whole situation over the last day or so has prompted them to think that maybe it would be a good idea to do it again.
Hell, I'd put you on the team.
I'm looking forward to it. It was so much fun, and if it happens again this year, that'll be great.
Excellent.
Probably going to be a done deal on that one.
Well, Jim, we hated to hear the news, but we are happy for you, and we're happy the way that you're choosing to do this. So we get a year to spend and mull this over. So I'm sure we'll have another conversation with you down the road a bit as we get closer and reminiscing a little bit more. But we just wanted to say thank you and also say congratulations to you, and we just appreciate you so much. So thanks for coming on this morning.
You guys are great. Thanks for having me, and we'll see you for Camp Out, right?
You got it. Absolutely. Excellent. All right, thank you. Jim Gardner, everyone. There you go. Something else, man. Let me go to Michael here. Hey, Michael, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just hanging out. Good morning. What you doing over there, buddy? What are you doing? Just good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, no, I have a home office.
You're gonna have to hang on a second.
Tomorrow night and that Thursday, which had been written off, is now going to be a nice day.
I hope it's latter part of tomorrow night. I'm going to my first Phil's game this season. I went to one last year. I try to maybe get out to one once a year if I can. I don't go all the time, but I'm excited to go.
Well, Karen Rogers calls me every morning. She just does it through the TV.
Oh, okay.
And so she said that it was going to be, that it had shifted earlier. So I think you're going to be fine.
4 o'clock game, so it should be good. Nice.
Those games, early games, anything that's early.
Yeah. Anything.
I'm
that's
sorry.
Anything.
During
Life,
the
it's
week.
Steve, there was the Phil's game on Friday night and the Phil's game last night. Both of them, because it's 6:40 start times, ended before 9 p.m.
Awesome.
And I'm looking at the clock and maybe if you're like a 25-year-old, it's way too early. But for me, getting up in the morning, I was like, "Ooh, this is nice."
Hot spit. They're doing clock radios on QVC tonight.
All right, well, this has been a very fun and special day today. We had Kevin. Good morning it. Good morning it. Look it. It's good morning it outside. Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Michael. Good morning it.
The Cabbage Patch, though, was such a huge, huge hit, and they smelled nice. They smelled like baby powder.
Like babies.
And so
that was like fight over them at the store during Christmas.
Right. Oh, there were bulls.
They would release new ones.
Kathy, that Schwarzenegger movie,
Jingle All the Way,
that is predicated on those famous toy store brawls, as Kevin said. There's everything in it, all that you would want from a good story.
And you know what? With that, like it being in 4 parts, it's almost like Yellowstone, and like you just want more, so you want to see what happens. So I got his answer when he said, I just wasn't finished telling the story.
Well, yeah, and to tell it in episodic way, which is like I was thinking, okay, with all of the shows that come out now, like Shogun and everything that are told and released that way, I think you need to see it in a couple hour blocks to get the epic nature of what it is. This saga becomes more of a saga when you're aware of all these stories happening at the same time, as opposed to this episode was about the wagon train, and this episode, when you actually sense they're all going on in real time together, that makes it more impressive.
Right. And Kathy, he was very impressed with your traffic skills, of course. He said that right at the beginning.
He gave me a hug when he came in. Thank you,
did.
Casey. Casey goes, she's the most excited to see you. And he came in for a hug. I was like, this is great.
This is awesome.
Richard Gere and Kevin Costner, you could have your ultimate threesome.
Seriously. And John Travolta also gave me a hug.
Yeah, Kathy ranked them. She off air, she goes, it was Kevin Costner, then John Travolta, and then Richard Gere for her personally, as far as
and then Emo Phillips.
Greatest moments. Emo was very cool. He didn't hang around as long as Kevin Costner did, though.
No,
that's for sure.
He didn't hang around at all.
All right, we need to do the letter of the day for today. You doing that, Case?
I got you.
Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter. And the Preston and Steve Show, brought to you today by the letter
O, as in O-range.
Not even a word. Oh, all right. We're going to give away Father's Day dinner for up to 10 people at Nebraska Brazilian Steakhouse. You can treat Dad to a delicious and unforgettable experience this year at their new location at 20th and JFK Boulevard in Center City. And you can go to the original location as well in Horsham. Or you go to Nebraska.com to make yourself a reservation and find out more. I will take a moment to, you know what? I'm not going to thank our sponsors. Today's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. That means we're going to give away our $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. And that winner is Brianna Martinez, who is from Schwenksville, Pennsylvania. And Brianna, we are going to give you a $350 gift certificate, and you can check out all the artwork and find out maybe who you want to get to do your tattoo. Going to Floating World Tattoo and floatingworldtattoo.com, or you can go to 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. And of course, you can find them on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos. Now, I will take a moment to thank our sponsors. Preston and Steve Show brought to you today by Duncan. Preston and Steve Show runs on Duncan. Also brought to you by Horizon Services. Help is on the way. And by Pauhana Tiki Boats in Ocean City, New Jersey. You can book today at pauhanatikiboat.com. Tomorrow on our program, a Wednesday, we will go on Fox Good Day. We'll have a secret text word, and we will also have, John McKeever, who's in to talk about tires on Netflix.
Yes.
So he's going to be in our studio tomorrow.
Very cool. I watched a couple episodes.
Yeah.
I actually, and I'll explain tomorrow, but I have a funny development in this interview in the show.
Okay, very good. So that's it. We're done. Rage on. Have yourself a great day. Pierre's in next, and we'll see you tomorrow, gang. Bye-bye.
Preston and Steve.
On 93.3 WMMR.
Bing, dang. Be-do.
Wawa has pizza. It's made fresh.